Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Free Up Friday edition of the program. Good morning, St. Lucia vibes at sunrise. My name is Shannon Lebourne, your humble servant. With the weekend on the horizon, it can be hard, I know, to find motivation to roll out of bed and get going and make the most of the last day of this week. But I'm here and ready to get you ready for what lies ahead. I want to encourage you this morning to continue believing in yourself and your abilities. You've done it before, and no doubt you can do it again. So put your best foot forward and let's go. You got this. Wishing you the very best today, Friday. Coming up, we'll review the major happenings this past week. I'll also spotlight the grassroots cricket after-school program with the ever-committed Alton Crafton. And later, the big one, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Tourism, Investment and Creative Industries, the Honorable Dr. ERNEST HILAIRE, will be my special guests. All that and more coming up right here on the program. Here's your invitation to remain with us from now until 9. In just a bit, we'll have the prayer for St. Lucia, but up next at 6:01 the time, the latest news headlines. Your first news of the day with Shannon Lebourne.
The morning news, first news of the day, is sponsored by Quartz.
Good morning. Our top story this hour: just months after resuming bananas trade to the United Kingdom, St. Lucia's exports have once again been suspended. The challenges hindering the shipments of bananas to the UK have triggered a review to ascertain whether the negotiated revenue is being generated by all parties involved. Agriculture Minister Honorable Alfred Prosper made the shocking disclosure Thursday. Kareem Nelson leads us off this hour.
Another dark shadow has been cast on the island's banana industry as exports to the United Kingdom have once again been halted only 5 months after trade resumed. In early May 2022, a technical delegation from the UK visited St. Lucia to determine the state's readiness to recommence trade. The technical visit was deemed satisfactory, and from the 15th of May 2022, St. Lucia would consistently export 2,000 boxes of bananas weekly to the European territory. Unfortunately, supply chain crises have presented some major challenges that threaten the economic viability of the trade at this time. The shipping and fuel cost associated with a container of bananas is stated at US $8,200 per container and rising. Although 50% of the shipping cost was subsidized by the UK supermarket chain, the state has found it difficult to sustain as fuel prices keep rising. The extended journey time to reach the UK is also proving uncompetitive as compared to other suppliers.
The ongoing challenges required a review of the trade to evaluate the business case and ascertain whether the parties are making the monies that they had anticipated prior to the commencement of the trade. The contracting parties, NFTO and the UK supermarket chain, have informed the government that they have mutually decided to suspend the trade, and as they monitor current situations impacting the trade both in the Caribbean and the UK. The cost of living crisis and rising energy costs over the next few months have created major uncertainties for everyone.
However, for Agriculture Minister Alfred Prosper, the light in the darkness is the promising prospects stemming from regional banana trade. Though the UK market has been temporarily closed off, St. Lucia is realizing success shipping bananas to neighboring territories.
Fortunately for our banana farmers, the efforts that we have employed in pursuing the regional markets are showing signs of progress and growth. The consignment of bananas originally assigned to the UK market will now be diverted to the regional market, and the weekly trade will be maintained. The NFTO, along with government support, are currently following up on additional inquiries within the region, and shortly they will be able to increase our regional market presence and volumes.
As soon as the contracting parties, NFTO and the UK supermarket chain, are satisfied that it is profitable to proceed with the arrangement, then the trade will be reactivated to Europe. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
Thanks, Kareem. Police have preferred charges against a Bocage resident in connection with a 2001 homicide. 19-year-old VJ Verlon Philip alias Black Boy of PI was gunned down in a remote area in Labrie on July 14, 2021. Reports are that Philip was fleeing the scene of a shootout between warring factions when he was tracked down and shot multiple times. Officers attached to the Major Crimes Unit of the RSLPF have arrested and charged Halen Hippolyte, a 25-year-old resident of Bocage, originally from Ancillary, for shooting death of VJ Philip. He was escorted before the First District Court, where he was remanded in custody. The matter was adjourned on to December the 1st this year for further case management. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force says it remains committed to resolving every incident of crime despite delays in time. The department continues to work assiduously to bring closure to the aggrieved families and ensure citizen safety. Now funded via the World Bank in the amount of $21.8 million, the St. Lucian government has launched the renewable energy sector redevelopment project 2022-2025. Following surface exploration and pre-feasibility study, 3 proposed sites in Soufrière were identified for exploratory drilling. The island's Prime Minister says this new indigenous power source is expected to produce up to 30 megawatts of energy, which is considered valuable baseload generation for approximately 50% of the island's current power demand.
The areas, Belplaine, Fosse-Jacques-Soufrière, and Saltibus-Choiseul have been earmarked for continued exploratory drilling as part of the efforts for geothermal energy development in St. Lucia. Following much research and development, which dates back to the 1970s, the prospects of the indigenous geothermal energy source from a feasibility study shows great promise for the island. The potential reliable and continuous power from the 3 proposed sites will serve as one substitute of fossil fuel power, accounting for half of the current base load of power demand. The $21.8 million project was launched in Soufrière on Thursday, the objective of which was to inform the government on the viability of its geothermal resources for power generation and strengthen the enabling environment to scale up clean energy investments within the private sector. Addressing the ceremony, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre takes a look into the history of the project and its prospective contribution to the economy.
Over many decades, we have made several attempts to explore the energy generating capacity of this national resource, but with little success to date. Of course, we understand it's a very expensive and risky undertaking, especially the early exploration stage, and so we have relied heavily on external financing and is thankful for the financing and technical support to assess the potential of the renewable energy resource.
2022 has proven to be a disruptive year for the oil and gas industry as the Russia-Ukraine war and the COVID-19 pandemic caused major upward shifts in fuel and gas prices, the effects of which Pierre says will continue to affect the island, increasing the need to explore an indigenous power source.
Last month, some of the world's top oil-producing countries agreed to cut the quantity they export in a decision expected to raise petrol prices around the world. The world's major oil exporters, including 2 of the largest exporters, Russia and Saudi Arabia, have agreed to cut production by 2 million barrels a day, a larger than expected cut, which took effect this month and which represents around 2% of the global oil supply and will have significant impact on the price of goods and services globally. Higher than normal oil prices were the main factor for rising consumer prices that hit countries around the world earlier this year, including St. Lucia. I have highlighted this global perspective to underscore the point that the current global energy situation should serve as a telling reminder to all stakeholders, including the government, to hasten the transition away from fossil fuels towards the more renewable sources of energy for St. Lucia.
Pierre expressed gratitude to all stakeholders who have and will contribute to the second phase of the project and retains high hopes that other investors will be drawn to the island to develop a geothermal power plant.
Like most natural resource development projects, this geothermal energy development project has to progress in different stages. Investors are highly unlikely to invest their money during the high-risk early exploration stage of geothermal development. This is why we have obtained funding and are grateful to the World Bank from our development partners, namely the National Development Association, IDA, the National Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, acting as the administrator for the Canadian Clean Energy and Forest Climate Facility, the United Kingdom Foreign Cooperative Development Office, and the Clean Energy Fund, the CFTC.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Jasmine Duncan.
Thanks, Jasmine. More development news now. The Ministry of Health, Wellness, Elderly Affairs will be working collaboratively with sister agencies, namely the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Infrastructure and Ministries of Economic Development to oversee the new St. Jude Hospital project, the first phase of which commenced following a short ceremony Tuesday, November 1st.
A small ceremony to announce the recommencement of the St. Jude reconstruction project was held on Tuesday, November 1st at the active construction site. Construction was last halted in 2021 whilst a committee reviewed the existing structures on the site in order to determine the best way forward. Following their findings, the government of St. Lucia took the decision to recommence infrastructural works under different terms. One of these terms ensures the project is undertaken collaboratively with vital input of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs in the oversight, planning, design and communications of the project.
I want to tell you also, the management of this project is going to be different. No one or two men are going to be in charge. Professionals are going to be in charge. And it's going to be a collaboration between the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Infrastructure, and the Ministry of Economic Development.
The contractor responsible for the construction activities on the site during this phase is construction company CIE.
We have started today with the phase 1 of the St. Jude Hospital rehabilitation project. Phase 1 includes the cleaning of the entire site, including all the buildings. It also includes the fumigation and the anti-termite treatment that needs to be carried out because of the time that has elapsed since the buildings were not used.
4 buildings were set to be attended to from Tuesday by 7 subcontractors with a total of 42 workers. The first phase is expected to be completed in 4 months, where phase 2 will begin. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Jenny Daniel, says the ministry has a vested interest in re-establishing and redeveloping hospital services to the south of the island.
Though the St. Jude Hospital has remained operational over the past 13 years, we are cognizant of the severe restrictions and limitations the institution and the staff members have faced during this time in the delivery of those services. In consideration of the foregoing, and as directed by the Cabinet of Ministers, the Ministry of Health maintains oversight over this current project through the establishment of a project steering committee and the assignment of the requisite health planning services designed to provide technical planning support to the project management team, as well as the management of the hospital in matters pertaining to service provision, design and transitioning of the hospital to its new premises.
The Ministry of Health will also provide vital communication support to the project by ensuring the accurate and timely dissemination of information concerning the progress of the project to stakeholders and to the general public. The St. Jude Hospital has been housed in the Viewfort Stadium for 13 years after fire gutted its surgical block in 2009. Reporting for the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, I'm Sant Justin.
Road safety awareness remains a critical focus area for emergency responders and, by extension, the St. Lucia Fire Service. This is in light of a growing number of road fatalities occurring on a weekly basis, some of which involve car fires, collisions, and motorcycle incidents. The St. Lucia Fire Service has joined the rest of the globe in observance of Road Safety Month in November.
According to fire and emergency officials, the The World Health Organization, in partnership with the World Bank, launched a decade of action for road safety in 2011 with the goal of having the number of deaths reduced worldwide. In St. Lucia, the number of road fatalities recorded for 2022 has reached 20 and counting from 17 road accidents. The toll has impacted several families who have lost their loved ones as a result. Speaking on road safety awareness, Station Officer Fernando James has made some recommendations that can keep road users safe and reduce the number of incidents occurring on the island's roads.
Wear seat belts, observe pedestrian crossings, and of course, maintain a high vigilance for when children and elderly are crossing the roads. Adopt anti-skid braking systems in our cars so the risk of car skidding can be reduced. It is important that all airbags are available in motor vehicles and of course that they are functional. Avoid drugs and alcohol while driving. Falling asleep behind the wheel has led to many grave mishaps in our roads, and therefore drivers must rest well, as a lack of this can have adverse effects on the mental alertness, slow down reflexes, and even cause momentary sleepiness behind the wheel.
James also had some advice for motorcyclists to heighten safety while riding. The island's most recent motorcycle fatality occurred on the Vieux Fort to Castries highway, leaving one man dead and another hospitalized only 3 days ago.
1. New riders, take a motorcycle safety course. Know the rules of the road. Motorcyclists drive defensively, especially at intersections. Watch for hazards like potholes and manhole covers and oil slicks and puddles. Assume that you are invisible to other motorists and position yourself to be seen. Use your headlights both day and night when applicable. Don't speed. Definitely do not speed. Wear bright, reflective and protective clothing. Wear goggles, glasses or use a face shield applicable to the helmet. In the end, road traffic safety is a collective energy between the government and people of this country.
Finally from us this hour, more Heritage Creole has concluded and the Monsignor Folk Research Center has provided a post-mortem of this year's calendar of activities while generally applauding stakeholders for their level of engagement. FRC Director Raisa Joseph recognizes the need for improvement to advance cultural development. She says moving forward, the inclusion of the authentic Creole language needs to be at the epicenter of festivities hosted.
The curtains came down on Creole Heritage Month with grand Journée Creole events in host communities Choiseul and Castries. However, the month's celebrations were not limited to that day solely, as throughout the month, the Folk Research Center hosted a series of activities to celebrate and recognize St. Lucia's cultural heritage. Reviewing and assessing the month of activities, FRC Director Raisa Joseph noted the emphasis which was placed on arts and craft and traditional games.
For us, the areas of importance that came up during our reflection were the use of traditional crafts in varied communities, whether it was through the making of traditional baskets, our coal pots, and other traditions that young people and older generations were able to see displayed in communities. That was very critical for us. We also saw the integration of one of our novel activities, which was Feste Jouer, Kote Munteka Jouer, Jouer Nunteka Jouer Talota, where persons came together to play traditional games that we played a long time ago when we were children, and that was able to bring a number of persons together.
Recognizing the importance of youth engagement in developing the nation's cultural heritage, Joseph was pleased by the level of participation stemming from the island's learning institutions.
Alors bagay qui était bien important pour nous, c'est participation de différentes écoles à Saint-Lucie. Lots of schools took the initiative to engage in a series of activities, whether it was the Jeunesse Creole pageant that the St. Joseph Convent had, Creole spelling bees, La Porte Creole, that a number of schools took up the initiative to invite Creole practitioners, persons in trades, to educate St. Lucian youth about our culture was very critical for us, because we see our culture not as an event, but as an opportunity to continue to grow as a civilization that is important, that has tools available to meet our current needs.
The inclusion and usage of the Creole language remains paramount to the Folk Research Center. The FRC director highlighted that the mother language needs to be a primary focus for the month's celebrations.
For us, what we would like to have seen more of was the promotion of the Creole language. Pour nous, nous voulons plus moun parler Creole. Est-ce que maman l'école pour parler Creole, pour lire pour les créoles, pour matcher créole, ça bien important pour nous comme organisation. We want to see greater utilization of our language to promote our own literacy and to reap the benefits of bilingualism as a people.
Ideally looking towards improvement, the FRC plans to advance the scope of activities outside the penultimate day, Journée Créole.
We want to really be able to focus on areas of greater education, areas that go outside of Journée Créole, which is one day out of the celebration that does not allow us the full range and opportunity to display what is St. Lucia's cultural heritage. And this is why we had Festin Juillet, Festive Violon, Concert Coming, which are activities that are not the usual sexy and exciting things that persons have grown accustomed to, but they are equally important in our national development and engagement with people. But a lot of them are a lot more intimate in terms of trying to find out ideas, sharing information, trying to reach different publics.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
Thank you so much, Kareem. Just before we end this hour, a quick look at our top story this morning. Just months after resuming banana trade to the United Kingdom, St. Lucia's exports have once again been suspended. The challenges hindering the shipment of bananas to the United Kingdom have triggered a review to ascertain whether the negotiated revenue is being generated by all parties involved. Agriculture Minister Honorable Alfred Prosper, he made the shocking disclosure on Thursday. We'll have more on this developing story next week right here on the program. But with that, we come to the end of the morning news. Your first news up with Shannon Lebourne.
The morning news, first news of the day, is sponsored by Quartz.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals. Only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Good morning, 6:24 now the time. The sports is next, sponsored by Peter Malta, thirst quenching nourishment for all. Sports, as our national school sports competitions are now in full swing. Let's begin with under-19 results from the basketball courts. Leon Hess Comprehensive secured a blowout victory against Choiseul, 79-13. That's 79-13. Hess wore the black and green and white uniform, while Choiseul wore the bright green and yellow uniform. That match was played Thursday at the Bossejou indoor facility. Again, Leon Hess winning in a blowout there. Meanwhile, in the second matchup of the day, the boys from the Patricia D. James Secondary School had a 22-point win over the Miku Secondary. The final score, Patricia D. James Secondary in whites at 24 and Miku in blue and white 2. Results now from schools under 19 football. Cyrus Simmons Secondary, they edged Leon Hess Comprehensive by 1 goal in the season's opening encounter. The final score, Leon Hess Comprehensive School in red 2 and Cyrus Simmons Secondary in orange 3 goals. Move on quickly now. Ladies were also in action as the under 19 schools netball championships continued Thursday at various venues. Soufrière Comprehensive went over Choiseul Secondary 48-3 for Soufrière Comprehensive. Goal shoot Kesley Monlouis scored 25 from 30 attempts, and goal attacker Denisha Valto scored 17 from 28 attempts. Goal attack Schler Clement scored 6 from 8 attempts for Choiseul Secondary. Nadine Rager scored 3 from 8 attempts. Meanwhile, Miku Secondary had a convincing win over Beanfield Secondary, 39-9 for Miku Secondary. Goal shoot Shamar's Margaret scored 29 from 46 attempts, and goal attacker Casey Marquis scored 10 from 15 attempts. For Beanfield Secondary, Shamela Joseph scored 6 from 10, and Makesh Joseph scored 3 from 6 attempts. The final results now from the school's under-19 netball championships. The St. Lucia Sports Academy and the St. Joseph's Convent, they went head-to-head at the VG Sports Complex. For the St. Lucia Sports Academy, Claudiana DeRose scored 13 from 24 attempts, and Makia Smith scored 5 from 17 attempts. For St. Joseph's Convent, quickly, Kerry Ann Lewis, she only had 1 attempt. And Angelique Marquis scored 6 from 7 attempts. Final score, the Sports Academy 18, St. Joseph's Convent 6. Inter-schools, secondary schools, table tennis now. The teams have been selected for the competition preliminaries, which was a success, with both teams from both the Northern and the Southern divisions qualifying for the quarterfinals. 2 venues were used for the preliminaries: the Grand Riviere Human Resource Center and the Castries Table Tennis Center. In the boys' teams event, the 8 teams that qualified for the finals, the quarterfinals that is, are as follows: the V4 Comprehensive A, the Soufriere Comprehensive A and B teams, the Stanley John Adler Memorial A and the St. Mary's College A and B teams, as well Castries Comprehensive Secondary A team and the Sir Arthur Lewis College. The girls' preliminary round saw Soufriere Comprehensive A and B, St. Joseph's Convent A and B, Castries Comprehensive A and B teams, and the Corinth Secondary and Patricia D. James Secondary also qualifying. The quarterfinals through to the finals will be played today, Friday, November the 4th, at the Bossejou Indoor Facility from 10 a.m. A contingent of 44 athletes will represent St. Lucia at the 2022 Central America and Caribbean Beach Games in Santa Marta, Colombia from November the 5th. The island's representatives will be seeking glory in the sport of beach volleyball. However, the team's selection have been overshadowed by controversy surrounding the appointment of the chef de maison to accompany the athletes on the journey. Kareem Nelson takes a closer look.
St. Lucia is gearing up to participate in the first ever Central American and Caribbean Games of Sea and Beach to be held in Santa Marta, Colombia from November 19th to the 26th. The island's cohort of 4 will compete against an anticipated 28 nations in the sport of beach volleyball. The team consists of 2 males and 2 females. The 2 women were recently crowned champions at the Eastern Caribbean Volleyball Association Championships held in October. The team was introduced at a press conference by Chef de Mission Shane Felicien.
So I'd like to call on Mr. Terry Verdant, who will serve as the coach for both male and female teams. I will now call on the women's team, Ms. Shano Evans, who is also a member of our senior female volleyball squad, Ms. Cleo Phillip, the youngest member of our senior female volleyball squad at the ripe age of 17. Now the male team, Mr. Rio Victor, student of Castries Comprehensive School. Don't let his height fool you, he's still young.
The team will be guided by veteran volleyball coach Terry Verdant, who is expected to guide the athletes to reap promising results. Verdant asserts that his mandate is to ensure that the athletes perform at their optimum while representing the country.
Our goal here is to go out there because, as you know, the pandemic, we couldn't do anything with volleyball at the time. So now our aim is to go out there and to play well, play hard, and represent ourselves and our country very well.
However, the team's recognition was eclipsed by controversy surrounding the selection of the chef de mission. President of the St. Lucia Olympic Committee, Alfred Emmanuel, was in receipt of a message which criticized his selection, citing that the same individuals are being recycled on these sporting ventures. Refuting that claim, Emmanuel asserted that this was simply untrue.
Y'all would have heard the email, the WhatsApp message. We had our games earlier this year. the Caribbean Games. Who was the chef? First time attorney at law, George Shalmine. First time as chef. Who was his assistant? An individual who is not an executive board member, Ms. Jean Morel. Outside of the box. Inclusivity, bringing in people to gain the experience that I am now being accused of not wanting.
Santa Marta 2022 includes a program of 12 sporting disciplines and will see the participation of more than 800 athletes.
Thanks so much, Kareem. Now to end the sports, one match was played on Thursday in the St. Lucia Football Association Island Premier Cup 2022 under the lights at the Grocery playing field. Castries secured a comfortable win against Mabuya 3-0. The goals for Castries were scored in the 70th, 72nd and 90th minutes. Castries with all 3 points there. That's the final whistle on the morning sports, sponsored by Peter Malta, through quenching nourishment for all.
Buy any 6 bottles of Peter Malta and get a chance to win big in the Peter Malta Back to School promotion. 3 lucky students will win a tablet each. 3 lucky parents or guardians will win $1,500 in Massey grocery shopping vouchers. Plus, the 3 schools of the winning students will each win a classroom projector. That's a lot of winning from Peter Malta. Buy 6 bottles of Peter Malta today to win. Promotion runs from 12th September to 19th November. Available at supermarkets island-wide. See in store for details.
Happy Friday, 27.5 minutes before 7 at the time on the clock. The latest weather forecasts up next. Good morning. For Friday, November the 4th, the winds will be blowing from between the east and the southeast near 16 miles per hour or 26 kilometers per hour, becoming lighter at times. The weather mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers, periods of rain, and possibly isolated thunderstorms. Moist and unstable conditions over the Lesser Antilles will cause cloudiness, showers, and isolated thunderstorms over the eastern Caribbean during the forecast period. 2 tropical waves located over the central and eastern tropical Atlantic are moving westward. They are 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour. Significant activity in our region. Let's quickly go through again the weather on this Friday. Mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers, periods of rain, and possibly isolated thunderstorms. Moist and unstable conditions over the Lesser Antilles will cause some cloudiness, showers, and isolated thunderstorms over the eastern Caribbean during the forecast period. Check this now. There are 2 tropical waves located over the central and eastern tropical Atlantic, and they are moving westward. They are 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour. Conditions rife for some rain over the next 24 to 48 hours here in the eastern Caribbean region. Of course, we are in the Atlantic hurricane season. You want to continue to be prepared. There's lots more on the weather online, www.slumet.gov.lc, or the 24/7 weather hotline, 454-3452. Stay safe out there on this Friday, November the 4th. There's lots coming up on the platform this morning. We will spotlight the Community Grassroots After School Program with the ever committed Alton Crafton, and later the big one, the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Tourism, Investment and Creative Industries, Dr. Ernest HILAIRE, will be my special guest. All that and more coming up on this Free Up Friday version of the program. I've dropped the tie and we toned things down a bit, but it's always a vibe at sunrise.
La la! See what's new at Courts. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Courts Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in store or online at shopcourts.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Courts. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
Come savor the flavor of 14 of Rodney Bay's best restaurants. The Bay Gardens Resorts presents Taste the Bay Food Festival, a culinary extravaganza you don't want to miss. November 27 from 11 a.m. at the Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa. Taste the Bay Food Festival, powered by makr St. Lucia. For more information, contact the Bay Gardens Resorts at 457-8535 or check out our Instagram page for more updates. Taste the Bay Food Festival, November 27th, 2022, Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa.
Sometimes life can knock you off the ground, but surprisingly, an encouraging word can hoist you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner, someone like Dr. Tanji.
Hi, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tanji has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the US and in the Caribbean on Kiss FM with the Dr. Tanji Show. Now, sister station HON 7 TV teams up with Kiss FM to bring the Dr. Tanji Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tanji Show on HOT 7 TV and Kiss FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor ordered.
Mourning a loss? HOT 7 TV wants to help you celebrate the beautiful memory of your loved one with In Loving Memory, Celebrating Lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, HOT 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In Loving Memory, Celebrating Lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
Good morning, St. Lucia. Vibes at sunrise. An informative, enlightening, stimulating package. It can be taken as your morning cup of tea Fortuna Anthony, endorsing Vibes in the Morning.
Welcome back, and a special good morning if you're just joining us. Thank you for making us your choice in the morning here on the platform. Good morning, St. Lucia Vibes at Sunrise. Free Up Friday. Today we're streaming live on Hot 7 TV. We're also online on Facebook and in HD on YouTube as well. Just hashtag Good Morning St. Lucia. Let's pause now and continue to set the right tone for the remainder of this Friday and ahead to the weekend. We normally featured on top the hour of 6 o'clock Monday to Friday, but it comes in at this time right now. A prayer for St. Lucia. Today is a presenter again. He started off this week and he will end the week. Black Prince from the Rastafarian community.
Song. Glory be to the power of the Most High Emperor Haile Selassie I Empressman and I Rastafari the First, who sitteth in Mount Zion I above them all Emperor Haile Selassie I Empressman and I Rastafari the First. Father most pure, give thanks for life. Give thanks for I taking I and I from unnatural death and all dangers of life. Give thanks for I taking the whole world from unnatural death and all dangers of life, even those that love you, even those that do not love you. Give thanks for life. Father most pure, give thanks for all what you have done for all of I and I. Sometimes I and I don't even recognize it's your work. Praise ye the living I, highly I, Selassie I, Empressman and I, Rastafari the First. Creating I and I a pure heart, and renew a tranquil conscience within I and I. Oh, and I pray for the irates of power come from I and I cause. Oh, and I best beloved, and by the light of Selassie I glory, reveal unto I thy path. O Selassie I, the God of I and Isaiah, through the power of the transcendent mighty light I up unto the Zions of Selassie I ERNEST. O source of I and I being, and by the breeze of thy eternity gladden I and I. O and I companion, and let the riches of thy ancient continent I live and I from all except thee. O and I creator, and let the tidings of the revelation of thy incorruptible essence bring I and I joy. O highly I, Selassie I, Empressman and I, Rastafari the First, who sitteth in Mount Zion I above them all, Emperor highly I, Selassie I, Empressman and I, Rastafari the First. Father most pure, give thanks for life. Give thanks for I taking I and I from unnatural death and all dangers of life. Give thanks for I taking my brethren and sisters, my elder patriarchs and matriarchs, near and far over land and sea. Be merciful unto them, enlighten them, encourage them, teach them, let them have patience, let them practice tolerance and goodwill, let them be obedient to the law of the Most High, and cause Selassie face to shine upon them continually. Emperor Haile, Selassie Empressman and I, Rastafari the First. Father most pure, Psalms 2 is a Psalms I'm always encouraging people to say, and Psalms 101. These two Psalms have so much power in them, you wouldn't believe the amount of power that's in them two Psalms. Them two Psalms could activate every nerve in your body that is sleeping, that you could realize that there is a creator that made the whole universe. Asking my brethren and sisters to put on the guns, bombs and ammunition, because we don't need that in our midst. This is not love. This is war. We are not warmongers. We are lovers. Especially African people are lovers. Because if we wasn't lovers, we wouldn't come with the concept of God to everyone and make everyone have faith in the creator of the whole universe. The Bible came from Africa. Don't forget that. We Africans that are in the Bible. That's why I'm encouraging my brethren and sisters to read the Bible, to enlighten you yourself, to encourage you yourself, to teach you yourself, to make you all have more love for one another. You know, because the whole scriptures, all it talks about is love. So don't turn you all back on the scriptures. Every morning when you get up, pray. Every time you remember the Father, pray. You know, as long as you remember Him, just pray. Pray in your heart. Nobody wants to have to hear you praying, because your conversation with you and the Creator is one.
Conversations with you and the Creator is one. I take the opportunity to thank Black Prince Nabingi Elder, member of the Rastafarian community, for blessing us this Friday. He started off the week on Monday and he ended the week on our latest feature, Pray for St. Lucia. We respect and welcome all religious faiths and beliefs here on the platform. If you would like to pray for St. Lucia, give us a call. 584-0600, 584-0600. Send us an email, bonjou758@gmail.com. Just about 13 minutes before 7 o'clock in St. Lucia. Let's now share with you the word for the day. The word for the day is sponsored by Joby Laundry Detergent, distributed in St. Lucia by Fruitsy Food Limited. Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love. My Joby, the proud sponsors of the word of the day, which comes on screen right now. Grandiose. Grandiose, today's word. It's an adjective. Let's use it now in a sentence, but before we'll give you the meaning. Grandiose is most often used disapprovingly to describe something that seems impressive or is intended to be impressive but is either not possible or practical. Again, grandiose is most often used disapprovingly to describe something that seems impressive or it intended to be impressive but is either not possible or practical. Use it now in a sentence. The committee eventually scaled back on the most outlandish parts of its plans for the festival, including a grandiose scheme to bring in live peacocks for the event. Thank you, Don. Grandiose, your word for today, brought to you with the kind compliments of Joby Laundry Detergent, distributed here in St. Lucia by Fruitsy Food Limited. Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love. My Joby.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
(455-3076), the number to place your orders. And I always tell you, you freshen up your laundry experience with Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby, the proud sponsors here on Good Morning St. Lucia. Let me tell you, we also want you to make more money. And when you make more money, we want you to make greater use of the money that you make. This hair program is built just for you. A mix of information, news, entertainment, financial tips as well. Today's financial tip is up next. Segment we call You and Your Money.
Use real numbers. For a budget to work and be successful, it needs to be based on actual numbers and not estimates of what you think you're spending. Knowing how much money is coming into your household and exactly how much money is going out every month is key in creating a successful budget. If you're not sure what you're actually spending every month, then tracking your expenses is the answer. Tracking expenses tells us the truth and shows us where we can make changes to our spending. People often underestimate how much money they are spending on things like groceries, entertainment, and dining out. Start to track your expenses on categories like this for a few weeks and then review your results. Once you've looked at your habits, ask yourself, are there areas I want to or need to make changes in my spending?
Your financial tip for today. We'll have a new one on Monday. Don't forget, we get going on top of the hour 6 all the way through to 9 right here. Your morning cup of tea. Thank you for making us your choice. We'll take a quick commercial break. Coming up on top the hour of 7, we'll spotlight the community grassroots after-school cricket program with Mr. Alton Crafton. Later on this morning, the big one, the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. ERNEST, HILAIRE, my special guest on issues of national importance, in particular the recent deal to develop Port Castries and the Soufriere waterfront. Stay in the know right here and on the go. Good morning, St. Lucia. We're powered by Flow. We'll be back in just a moment.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
A young man from Bagatelle is dead. Calls on the public to not stigmatize his vehicular accidents along the Bexar Highway leaves Tremendous. Shannon welcomes the scrutiny of its CI. One man is in police custody following the shooting death of the wife of a police officer.
Look out for the midday news with Daniela Edwin on Hot 7 TV.
Mourning a loss? Hot 7 TV wants to help you celebrate the beautiful memory of your loved one with In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, Hot 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
Sometimes life can knock you off the ground, but surprisingly, an encouraging word can hoist you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner, someone like Dr. Tanji.
Hi, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tanji has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the US and in the Caribbean on Kiss FM with the Dr. Tanji Show. Now, sister station HON 7 TV teams up with Kiss FM to bring the Dr. Tanji Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tanji Show on Hot 7 TV and Kiss FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor ordered.
What's up, guys, and good morning. My name is O'Neal OJ Joseph, keyboard player for Morgan Heritage, and I'm asking you guys to check out Good Morning St. Lucia Vibes at Sunrise with Shannon Lebourne on weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Hot 7 TV. Check it out.
Welcome back. Just about 5 minutes before 7 o'clock, a few moments to go before our next scheduled feature. So let's pause for a moment and spotlight perhaps the biggest news headline here on St. Lucia within the last 24 to 72 hours. And Dan, you just shared the footage as soon as you're able to do so. We open the phone lines immediately as well. Give you an opportunity quickly to come in on this situation. 5840600, the WhatsApp line, powered by Flow, and 4500 777 the Flow landline as well in studio. It has occupied the news headline and it has been at the tip of thousands of tongues here on the island. Everybody's talking about it. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force confirming that one of its own have been charged with relation to sexual assault on a minor here in St. Lucia. We understand that the minor, who it is in our primary interest to protect at this time, is perhaps 10 or 11. A minor on St. Lucia police officer charged with sexual assault on that young girl. We understand that the officer has since been remanded at the Bodley Correctional Facility, waking up in a whole different room this morning, I am sure, that police officers. So that has occupied the headlines. Give us a call. Let us know what are your thoughts on this troubling news development. The Acting Police Commissioner, Ms. Crisita Descat-Pelliu, she has vowed to ensure a zero tolerance policy to issues of sex crimes within the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. So let us know, what are your thoughts? Do you think justice will come out of this particular situation? What sort of justice do you think should be leveled here against the individual once, and we repeat, once, and if he is found guilty? The lines are open. You give us a call. We have a few moments to go. And this week as well, there has been some conversation on social media regarding the media coverage of this particular issue. You would appreciate, Don, you could take it down for a bit. You could appreciate, St. Lucia, that this is a very ticklish crime. It is a very ticklish situation, allegation at this time, and it is in early stages, very early days right now. For us here on Good Morning St. Lucia, don't expect us to attempt to interview the family. We don't have an interest in that. Our interest is the protection of the young girl involved to the highest level. Speaking to the family would certainly identify the victim in this crime. She's a victim, and our interest here on this platform, Good Morning St. Lucia, and by extension Hot 7, is to protect the victim and ensure that she receives the attention and care that is required, especially in this time. Not just her, but other members of the family who would be affected. So don't expect us to go in that direction, searching for family members, not on Good Morning St. Lucia. Next week, though, we will speak to a counselor to see what the process is like. We will speak to Human Services, we'll speak to attorneys, and we'll go that angle, but not the sensational angle. This is a new course to discuss here, 6 to 9, with yours truly, Shannon Lebourne. There are no calls. The phone lines are still cold. People are asleep. Friday morning, you gotta wake up. St. Lucia. Thanks, Ord. Our phones are just about restarting. So if you have been trying to call us and perhaps you finding difficulty on the landline, you just give us about a minute or so. But you gotta wake up early. You don't want to be caught with your pants down. Stay in the know and on the go right here on Good Morning St. Lucia. So that's the biggest issue in St. Lucia. That's the biggest headline in St. Lucia over the last 3 days, 24, 72 hours here, and we spotlighting it just a moment. We'll go in depth next week with more details and a different angle. So online, there has been some conversation on the media coverage of this particular story. Persons taking the media to task on whether or not it should be reported as a rape, as opposed to what we have used here on this platform is sexual assault. That is what the charge is, and it is not referred to as rape in the charge levied. So the media basically reports on the charges which have been preferred on the alleged perpetrator here in this case. So the charges handed down by the authority is a charge of sexual assault. It is a crime, and so the media is so guided to call it that. We can't come now based on the information and based on the charges handed down to call it a rape. So we just clarify that, but our sympathies to all parties involved, and we stand by the word of the incoming acting police commissioner that there will be a thorough investigation, and once found guilty, the alleged individual will be made to face the full force of the law, just like any ordinary citizen. Don't expect any cover-up here, especially with Commissioner Pelius in charge. We've restarted, guys. We've restarted, so we'll keep the lines open throughout the program. My good next guest, the ever-committed Alton Crafton, he's already standing by. It's 2 minutes after 7, so let's take a short break. We'll bring on the obituaries now, continue with Alton Crafton afterwards, and at 8 o'clock, the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, will be my very special guest. Stay with us. Good morning, St. Lucia. We'll be back momentarily.
It is with deepest sadness that we announce the death of Cletus Lambert, also known as Joe or Joe Boy of Café Chauzel. He passed away at his residence on Tuesday, October 18, 2022. He was 87 years old. The funeral service for the late Cletus Lambert, also known as Joe or Joe Boy of Café Chauzel, will be held at Our Lady of Lourdes Roman Catholic Church, Chauzel, on Thursday, November 10, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. Thereafter, his body will be interred at the Latuni Cemetery. His body now lies in the professional care of Crick's Funeral Home, Riviere Dory, Chauzel. May he rest in perfect peace. The death is announced of John Charles, also known as Farai or Gabby Hayes, originally of West Hallview Fort, but resided in Latuni. He passed away at the St. Jude's Hospital on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022, at approximately 5:10 p.m. He was 63 years old. The funeral arrangements for the late John Charles, also known as Farai or Gabby Hayes, will be announced in a subsequent broadcast. The body now lies at Lazarus Funeral Home, New Dock Road, View Fort. May he rest in eternal peace. The death is announced of Mary Ann Joseph, also known as Granny or Ma Everard, of Reunion Chauzel, who passed away at the St. Jude's Hospital on Sunday, October 30th, 2022 at the age of 95 years. The funeral arrangements for the late Mary Ann Joseph, also known as Granny or Ma Everard, will be announced in a subsequent broadcast. The body now lies at Lazarus Funeral Home, New Dock Road, View Fort. May she rest in eternal peace. The death is announced of Susanna George, also known as Mum to her children and grandchildren, Arizana or Zan of Saltibus, who passed away at the St. Jude Hospital on Friday, October 14, 2022. She was 76 years old. The funeral service for the late Susanna George, also known as Mum, to her children and grandchildren, Arizana or Zan of Saltibus, will be held on Friday, November 11, 2022, at the St. Teresa of the Child Jesus Catholic Church, Saltibus at 3 p.m. The body will be laid to rest at the Saltibus Cemetery. The body now lies at Lazarus Funeral Home, New Dock Road, View Fort. May she rest in perfect peace. The management and staff of Hot FM Communications would like to extend our deepest condolences to the grieving families.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
A young man from Bagatelle is dead. Calls on the public to not stigmatize his fatal accident along the Bexar Highway leaves Tremendous Shannon welcomes the scrutiny of its CI. One man is in police custody following the shooting death of the wife of a police officer.
Look out for the midday news with Daniela Edwin on Hot 7 TV.
Mourning a loss? Hot 7 TV wants to help you celebrate the beautiful memory of your loved one with In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, Hot 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
Sometimes life can knock you off the ground, but surprisingly, an encouraging word can hoist you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner, someone like Dr. Tanji.
Hi, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tanji has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the US and in the Caribbean on Kiss FM with the Dr. Tanji Show. Now, sister station Hot 7 TV teams up with Kiss FM to bring the Dr. Tanji Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tanji Show on Hot 7 TV and Kiss FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor ordered.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
Hey St. Lucia, Dylan Edwin here, national record holder for St. Lucia. I invite me to join Shannon Lebourne's show, Good Morning St. Lucia, on Hot 7 TV every morning. Now I'll see you at the finishing line.
Welcome back on this Free Up Friday, 12 minutes after 7 o'clock our time, the 4th of November, by the way. Did you know that this month is being observed as Road Safety Awareness Month? Not just in St. Lucia, but around the globe. Next week, we'll tell you more. But my first guest is already on standby, and let me tell you, if you haven't heard, there's a nice vibe, a positive vibration, a mystic movement in Grosley every afternoon after school. You can find a happy bunch of youngsters under the guidance of Mr. Alton Crafton over at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, the after school grassroots cricket program. Alton, good morning. Thanks for waking up early, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, good morning to you, Shannon, and to all your listeners and viewers. Yeah, nice having me on your program this morning.
Nice, our pleasure. Tell us first. Tell us about the program. How did it come about?
Okay, it's basically providing the avenue and the platform for young cricketers to get the opportunity to practice and to better their skills on an afternoon after school. You know, so much happens after school. The minds could be doing different things. So we have created that platform to encourage as many as possible to come and enjoy the sport, and even to get a place to recreate, to be in a safe, environment.
Nice, and we've seen some of the videos and shared it here on the platform. The kids seem extremely happy. How long has it been going on for, and what's the feedback like from the students?
Well, the program has been going on for a while now. Maybe I'm sure between about 10 years or so. But before, we're not as extensive as now. At one time, we had training twice a week, at times 3 times a week. But now, as you said earlier on, every day we are training. And the reason for it is because some students, they have lessons, and some have other challenges. They can't come every day. So I'm available for whatever day they can come. Although there's some who come every day.
Excellent. And the level of interest is extremely high. Talk about the impact that this program is having on the youngsters in Grosley.
Sorry, Shannon, I'm not hearing you too clearly.
Sure.
I didn't hear that last question.
Let's try to fix it, Don. It's better now?
A little better.
All right, talk about the impact and the change that you see the program having on the participants in the cricketing ability and in the general behavior as well.
Okay, you're asking about the output, like what's coming out of it?
Yes.
Okay, well, we're very happy with what's coming out of it. Cricket training is cricket learning is a slow, gradual process. But what we're happy to do to say is that during the school's tournament, normally the children will attend our program, they stand out, and we're happy to see that. We're happy to see them, being able to show their skills which they have learned. Even we also have had a lot of success in terms of children moving on, making regional representation, national representation, and even going beyond that.
Nice. Excellent. And you cater for both male and female?
I didn't get that, Shannon.
You cater for both male and female?
For some reason, you're cutting off in terms of.
I don't know what's happening here now. Dan is checking on it. Is this better by any chance, Alton?
I'm not getting that.
Oh my.
You asking me that?
I was asking you to confirm that you cater for both male and female participants.
I'm so sorry. I'm hearing part of what you're saying, but not.
This is rather unfortunate.
Try again, just maybe a little louder.
How is this now?
Okay, a little better now.
A little better now, great. You cater for both male and female, boys and girls?
Yes. We do have boys and girls. In fact, let me highlight one of our young girls. Her name is Selena Ross. She was one of those involved in the West Indies on the 19 trading.
Just hold on, Alton, if you can hear me. We've lost some headroom for you, so just adjust your phone to give yourself a little bit more headroom.
I didn't get you, Shannon.
Can you adjust the camera to give yourself a little more headroom, please?
Yeah, I didn't. Again, I'm not hearing you too clear. For some reason, like it's muffing up.
Oh my, I don't know what's happening with the audio this morning. Our technicians are working on it. We operate a live platform, and we appreciate you, St. Lucia, to stay with us.
I'm hearing nothing now.
What's it like now, Alton?
Now, okay. Let's go.
Yeah, so I was telling you, just give yourself a little more headroom, and you can continue telling us about Selena.
Okay. Yes, I think that's better now.
Yeah, that's
I'm Selena Ross. She's a young student from this Cyrus Simon Secondary School. Age 50 now, and she's already involved in West Indies under 19 cricket. She's a left arm seam bowler, and Selena Ross only started 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. She, one of the friends who come into cricket training, she had no real interest in the game, but she came there and she developed a skill. And now, within 2 years, she was able to be at the West Indies on the 19 setup, age 15. So I'm saying that to indicate to others who may want to, use cricket as an avenue. It's right there, the opportunity is there for all.
Tell us about the collaboration between the Ministry of Sports. How is it working?
I miss you again, Shannon.
Tell us about the collaboration between the Ministry of Sports and yourself.
The Ministry of Sports?
Yes.
Yes, I work with the Ministry of Sports, as you know. So they have been very kind to me in terms of supplying some nice balls and just allowing us to be involved with them. The PS at Youth and Sports, she has always she's showing a very keen interest in what we do, the minister, everybody. So we're happy with the vibe we're getting from them. And of course, we operate at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. We're very thankful for.
Excellent. But you can do a lot more with more corporate support. I'm guessing.
Mr. Again.
Alton seems to be having some issues with our audio.
I'm not telling you, Shannon. Sorry.
Yeah. Really unfortunate. You let me know when and if the audio improves, or we could try to reconnect with Alton. What do you think?
I'm missing you. I wonder if I go next to the television, if I'll be able to pick you up.
No, it might cause a feedback. So just stand by, Alton. We'll take a short break, Danny, and then we'll reconnect with Alton. Let's see if we can work on the audio.
Okay, thanks.
We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Quartz, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
A young man from Bagatelle is dead. Calls on the public to not stigmatize his fatal accidents along the Bexor Highway. From Shannon welcomes the scrutiny of its CI. One man is in police custody following the shooting death of the wife of a police officer.
Look out for the midday news with Daniela Edwin on Hot 7 TV.
Sometimes life can knock you off the ground, but surprisingly, an encouraging word can hoist you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner, someone like Dr. Tanji.
Hi, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tanji has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the US and in the Caribbean on Kiss FM with the Dr. Tanji Show. Now, sister station HON 7 TV teams up with Kiss FM to bring the Dr. Tanji Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tanji Show on Hot 7 TV and Kiss FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor ordered.
Yo, Wagwan Massive, this is your boy, Moto there, and it's all about Good Morning St. Lucia, vibes at sunrise, with Shannon Lebourne, yeah man, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m, the thing is always lit on Hot 7 TV, you don't know, Moto endorsing the vibe, you don't know, what she like, she like the chicken on the rice, chicken and rice.
We're back on. Thanks for staying with us here on the platform today, Friday. We chatted with Sports Administrator Mr. Alton Crafton. I think we sorted out the audio issues now. Let's bring Alton back on the screen. He runs a grassroots cricket after school program in the north of the island, and it's generating significant positive change among the youngsters who participate. Alton, you're back with me, correct?
Yes, I am, sure.
And the audio is crystal clear now. On an average, how many youngsters you get participating, Alton?
Yeah, on an afternoon we get on an average of about 25 to 30, 35, 40. It all depends on what days. And on a Saturday, where we start from 9:30 to 1, we have an average of between 65 and as many as 80 attending sometimes on a Saturday.
Wow. Significant movement there. You were telling us earlier about Selena Ross, that success story. Any more success stories you've seen coming out of that particular program?
Well, several we have had before. The likes of Kimani Melius and Kiana Joseph. People like Gavin Seri, Lee Solomon, Sigmund Gilson. I mean, we have a whole list of them. But clearly right now we have a couple of youngsters which we iron. And but what we need, Shannon, is a little more support, and I wouldn't blame anyone. But for example, on an afternoon, sometimes we have no surface to practice on. We have no pitch, no strip, and that could be very challenging. Say you have a group of about 40 students there. We should have the options of using a practice wicket. Yeah. We can do some fielding, but yeah, we have some constraints which we try to work with. But so far so good.
Yes, an opportunity to reach out to corporate St. Lucia. We've spoken about the young people and how they behave sometimes, some of the negative incidents and activity they get involved in. Here is a bunch of youngsters, 25 sometimes during the week, as much as 80 on a Saturday, staying off the streets and getting involved. So big opportunity for you to put your brand behind this particular program with Alton. Earlier, Alton, I'd asked a two-part question. One part you answered as to the improvement in the cricketing ability, but what sort of change you see in the behavior of the participants coming to your program?
Yeah, that's very challenging. In fact, yesterday I listened to Mr. Sipal, and I was very happy with his interview. And he hit the nail right on its head, right? It's very challenging now. The days now are not the same as before. It's a lot more challenging. Mm-hmm. So what we do, we always try our best to ensure we're one step ahead and work with the students, because you could teach them the way you want. You have to be at their pace, at their level, at their standard. So we have understood that, and maybe that so far has guided us going through the long period of time which you have. You have to know them. You have to love what you do also. But in terms of behavior, challenges come up. We try our best to instill conflict resolution. We try our best to have them in the right thinking. But that's challenging, and it will always be.
Yeah, but you recognize as a sports administrator the need for programs like yours, after school programs, to help alleviate some of the social ills that we see now.
Yes, I'm sure, because for example, some of the students, for sure, some may not have the skill to make West Indies or even make the national team, but they show up, but they get engaged in physical activity, and you see them sweat, you see them work out, and I'm very happy to see that, because as you said, you could have been doing something else, at that time. Yeah. So yes, we're very happy with that. Absolutely.
Yes, hold on, Alton. Dan, can we put some more of the video on screen, so we can highlight some of those youngsters who participated in Alton's program? Let's talk some more about the initiative. It focuses in the main on cricket, correct? But you share the soft skills like you've mentioned.
Cricket, I'm missing you again, Chan.
You share the soft skills with them. It's more than just cricket.
No. We do instill soft skills. We normally have a summer camp where we invite a lot of guests to work on these soft skills. And even during our normal session, we always reiterate and remind. We always start with prayers to instill the godly factor in our training. Excellent. And we take it from there. So it's an ongoing thing that we always do. But we need help. I mean, if somebody is willing to come and assist us in other ways, other soft skill installation, we'll be really happy to accept.
Excellent. Let's talk about the likes of Kimani and others who have risen out of this particular program. What sort of role do you see they playing in coming on and inspiring the current participants and the younger generation to look to sport as a means of the way out and of success, of them reaching higher heights?
Yeah, the likes like Kimani play a huge role in our program. He's here right now, and I mean he brings in a high level of professionalism, a high level of work ethics. So the younger ones, they move towards that movement. So that for us, we have Kiana Joseph, who have played for the West Indies. So the young ladies, I mean, they have something to look forward to, and I think the two of them and others play a major role in terms of the youngsters moving towards getting that kind of mindset, professional mindset, and strong work ethics.
Nice. What vision do you see for this? What's your vision for the program? What do you see it? What do you wish it to be in the not too distant future?
Yeah, but with more support, as I said, if we have more netting, more strips available in the afternoon for training, yes. And well, we have a coach employed by the Ministry of Sports, also more like Edward. She assists my program in terms of the layout, and she's doing a very, very good job. We have others from others also, but then I could see that program reaching really far, really far. We can almost be like a nursery for youth cricket international. In fact, we have served that role for a while, and I think we'll continue doing that.
Yeah, unofficially, you've actually served that role pretty well, serving as that stepping stone for athletes to move from that grassroots level into national teams.
Yes.
And like you've said, with Selena and others going on to regional
But Shannon, let me say to you, it's not an easy task.
Yeah.
You have to have the love, the commitment, and the passion for it. Because grassroots, a lot of people run away from that. Because let me tell you, that is where you have to have patience, and especially the new method of the children now. You have to be challenging, but if you love what you do, you'll get through. It's also very rewarding to see them prosper and move on.
Excellent. What majority of your participants come from?
Most of them come from, they're all over the place. We have some from Babano, we have as far as Bele, it's all over the place. All over the place.
Yeah.
A guy comes from Roseau Valley on afternoons, gets back home. So it's wide range.
Roseau Valley, wow. Team commitment. And would you identify them as youth at risk of vulnerable outside of a program like yours?
Oh, certainly. When I see the guy's name is TP, right? Tori. He's from Roseau. These areas are challenging. And when I see him show up for cricket, I mean that really makes me feel good that he's away from other possibilities, in a safe environment where he enjoys his cricket training. Of course, we have children from, I wouldn't come down on any areas, but the Fuasho area is a challenging area, and we have about 2 or 3 girls coming from that area. So on afternoons when they show up, for sure, yes, they're in a safe environment doing something which they love and which they can actually get reward from.
Yeah. Let me allow you to make 2 appeals, Alton, as we close. One, to youngsters who trying to find a safe haven or trying to find some fun activity after school. What do you say to them? And 2, make a big appeal for corporate support for this particular initiative, which has a meaningful impact and a positive change to make on the minds of so many youngsters.
Okay, I'm sure. Let me say to all the listeners and whoever, anybody who has the interest of cricket, youngsters, male or female, they're most welcome in our program. We don't charge, and that's one thing which I is very deliberate on my part. I don't want to put no figure in terms of for training. And the reason being, I want nobody to be left behind. Because if I had a course during the time of Kiana and Kimani, maybe they wouldn't attend training. So my training is very open, no cost. Also, although we accept voluntary contributions, and some parents do, some don't. But then it's a challenge which we have to work with. So I'm appealing to anybody out there. We have support coming from one corporate person. I don't know if they want the name mentioned. Because we have to do something formal, but it hasn't been done as yet. So but maybe I should, because it's a good thing. I should, right?
Perhaps you should.
Yeah, it's a good thing. My friend from my schoolmate, my ex-schoolmate from Fresh Start, Peter Felicia, push it. He has agreed and so far has given our program some assistance every month. We collect a check from him, which goes a very long way in terms of coaching support and other vital support which we need. But of course, we open to anybody else out there who want to assist us. We also have an issue there with transportation, Shannon. Bossejo is off the road, and sometimes on an afternoon after training, at times I have to make 2 trips with my open van from Bossejo to the main road and back in order to facilitate everybody leaving the stadium to get home. If we can get some sort of transportation assistance, that'd be good. Although meeting the director of sports recently, we had a coaches meeting with him, and he promised that they'll try to assist in some way with transportation. So we're going to be looking at that avenue also. But if anybody wants to help in any way, we'll be happy for that intervention.
Excellent, excellent. Big appeal, big opportunity, St. Lucia. We look forward to you coming on board and giving Alton and the program your fullest support. One more from me, and then I'll let you go, Alton. The role of the parents. Talk about parent involvement in the program. Are you seeing a lot of parents interested, not necessarily contributing, but are they following up to see how the students are doing, and are they fully supportive of the kids coming and participating in this initiative?
Yeah, parental support has been a very, very, very good, especially before, but now it's kind of, parents, well, maybe they're very comfortable and they don't really come around as much as before. But we had a set of parents, the Goodmans, the Gersons, Prevail, who used to be there in and out to ensure, they give the children the support. But there's parents who still come around to support what happens. But as I said, maybe they're very comfortable, so they don't really come around. But and I have some parents we don't see at all. And these are the students which we really try to ensure that they remain active and we keep them going. Because some of them, maybe the parents are challenged in different ways, and they're not able to lend the support, because to get to buses you need transportation, and maybe that could be one of the challenges for them.
Yeah. Alton, I want to thank you for what you're doing with the youngsters. I want to give you all the positive vibrations to continue laboring on with this program, and we wish best of luck for the future continuation of it. We hope that Corporate St. Lucia comes on board fully to give you that much needed help so that you can continue having a positive impact on the youngsters.
Thanks, Shannon, much appreciated. And let me say to you, your program, I normally listen to a certain program on mornings, so you're the second one which I have to go in between the two to ensure. But you're doing a very great job, and continue your fine work. I
look forward to the day when I warm your heart enough to be the very first and only choice.
Not my heart is well warm, but it's properly warm on the other side too.
Excellent. Alton, you
okay.
All right.
Yeah, no problem.
Alton Crafton, sports administrator there. He runs the grassroots cricket and after school program in Grosley, doing some very good work with the young kids. And again, we appeal to Corporate St. Lucia to give him the fullest support. Kudos to Permanent Secretary Caroline Eugene and the entire team at the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Somebody saying here on the Facebook Live, good job, fresh start for your contributions towards the development of our youth. Local company giving back. I'm definitely certain that there will be no objection to the shout out, which didn't come from me this morning but came from Mr. Crafton himself. It's Friday, Free Up Friday on the platform. We have just about 20 minutes before 8 o'clock. On top of the hour of 8, the big one. You want to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. It's going to be hot at 8 to 9. Deputy Prime Minister, Tourism Minister, Creative Industries Minister, and Minister for Investment as well, the Honorable Dr. Ernest HILAIRE. I will have him as my very special guest, talk about issues of national development. We'll talk about the port deals. If there's an issue you think we should talk about, you send us an email as well, bongou758@gmail.com. It's coming up at 8. Please stay with us for that. Thank you for waking up with us. Thanks for making us your choice. You have many options or things to do on a morning time, but you choose to be here, and we wholeheartedly appreciate you. Stay with us now.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal. For cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning, use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
A young man from Bagatelle is dead. Calls on the public to not stigmatize his steel accidents along the Bexar Highway leaves Tremendous. Shannon welcomes the scrutiny of its CI. One man is in police custody following the shooting death of the wife of a police officer.
Look out for the midday news with Daniela Edwin on Hot 7 TV.
Sometimes life can knock you off the ground, but surprisingly, an encouraging word can hoist you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner, someone like Dr. Tanji.
Hi, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tanji has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the US and in the Caribbean on Kiss FM with the Dr. Tanji Show. Now, sister station HON 7 TV teams up with Kiss FM to bring the Dr. Tanji Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tanji Show on Hot 7 TV and Kiss FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor ordered.
One with in loving memory, celebrating lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, Hot 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In loving memory, celebrating lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
I travel quite a lot and would sometimes be out of the country for weeks at a time. The good news is that because of the internet and modern technology, I can always stay in touch with what's happening in St. Lucia. And when I do, my go-to site is Good Morning St. Lucia, Vibes at Sunrise with Shannon Lebourne. Up-to-date news, good discussion, interesting guests, and a great host. What more could anyone ask for? My name is Richard Peterkin, and I endorse this message.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us on this Friday. We have a few moments before our next scheduled appointment this morning. So let me tell you, there's been a new national record that has been sent, and we could put the phone lines on screen as well and open them up down this morning to engage with you if you have special interest to give us a call this morning, you can do so. I had a caller during the break from the international community. We have a few moments right now. You can connect with us. But not an international record, international caller, but a national record has been set in the polls. Put the graphic of the young star on screen for me, and then we continue with him. As soon as you're ready, Don, we can put him up. He's been having an exceptional season, a very good and strong year. He was at the Commonwealth Games. He bounced back after. Excellent, no problem. I know Don will take care of that quickly. He bounced back, as I was saying, from a bout with COVID-19. When everybody thought his season was done at the Commonwealth Games, he came back strong. And he's recently set a new national record and a personal best as well at the FIBA championships, which are now underway. We have it. Put him up, so that we can continue to bless and celebrate his achievements. No, it's not that one, Don. Or is it? Hold on. Is that the one I sent? Or is it two? I think... No, that's not the one I sent. I sent you one with his personal best records as well. You got it? Let me resend it to you right now. But that's the image. We can keep that one up. That's not a problem, Dan. We can keep that one up. That's the image. Resent you the one that we want to use now. That's the image of Jehan Odlum Smith, young St. Lucia swimming sensation. He is representing well, not just himself and his club, but he's also representing the flag exceptionally well. The blue, black, white, and yellow flag of St. Lucia. You have it, Don? Let's flip the script quickly as you get ready for our 8 o'clock appointment. The phone lines remain open. You can give us a call. That's the one. Jehan Odlum Smith. He has set a new national record in the 100-meter butterfly. We say congratulations to him. Time of 53.94 seconds. That's a new national record, St. Lucia. We say congratulations, young man. Thank you for representing well. Thank you for all that you have and continue to do. And big up, a new national record. Jehan Odlum Smith. Well done, young man. Also, he has set a personal best as well, a new PB, new personal best in the 50-meter freestyle. What's the time there? That time looks like 22.74 seconds. The FIBA Championships now on the way in Indianapolis, Indiana. Jehan Odlum Smith representing St. Lucia. Personal best and new national record as well. Big things. You could only imagine what happens when the OECS Championships they come to the Aquatic Center later this month. Yeah. But there is a regional championship which comes to St. Lucia, the Aquatic Center, later this month. So we look forward to Team St. Lucia and Jehan's continued performance when that one gets underway. You can take it down now, Dan. Thanks so much. Thank you. We say good morning to you. Thank you for joining us and staying here on top of the hour of 8 o'clock. Dr. Ernest HILAIRE comes in. You help me out after Don because I seem to be losing a lot of the contributors on the live feed via my handset. So good morning to you. Thanks for always logging in. Clears. Thank you. We say good morning to everybody who's on. Catherine Stanislas is on. Brad Bernard was on early on. Everybody who's on the Facebook feed, thank you. To you at home on the Hot 7 plug and play as well, we welcome you. Thanks for making us your one and only choice. We so really appreciate you. Those watching on Facebook, those watching on YouTube as well, thank you all for staying with us. We'll take a short break. And then we'll prepare to join Dr. Ernest HILAIRE for a very special interview this morning. Free Up Friday. We're talking the recent port deals. We're talking other matters of national interest. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a bit.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Quartz, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
A young man from Bagatelle is dead. Calls on the public to not stigmatize his steel accidents along the Bexor Highway leaves Tremendous Shannon welcomes the scrutiny of its CI. One man is in police custody following the shooting death of the wife of a police officer.
Look out for the midday news with Daniela Edwin on Hot 7 TV.
Sometimes life can knock you off the ground, but surprisingly, an encouraging word can hoist you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner, someone like Dr. Tanji.
Hi, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tanji has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the US and in the Caribbean on Kiss FM with the Dr. Tanji Show. Now, sister station HON 7 TV teams up with Kiss FM to bring the Dr. Tanji Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tanji Show on Hot 7 TV and Kiss FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor ordered.
One with In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, Hot 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
The 2022 Power Soca Monarch First, inviting you to tune into Hot 7 TV. Good morning, St. Lucia. Big up. Now let's see this spend it. No lawyer can spend it. Can be broke if she buys it. She must eat all your money. Because God made man, man made money. God made woman to eat man money.
hello. Thanks for staying with us. We have a 8 o'clock appointment with my next guest, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the island's Deputy Prime Minister. A few minutes away. We're already connected though, so we'll get going once the good doctor connects with us this morning, and then we'll be talking about the recently signed deal for the ports in Castries and Soufrière. We'll also, well, it's not a deal, they signed a memorandum of understanding, but there's a significant difference here. We'll talk about that. We'll be sure to question Dr. Hilaire about the current crime situation. By the way, the last 4 homicides have directly or indirectly affected Dr. Hilaire's constituency. One, the shooting death of the young girl in Fouacho, the double homicide in Cicero, and the resident of Cicero who was the island's last homicide. So definitely question Dr. Hilaire about that, get his perspective as to what can be done to nip the situation from the bud and to get some solid and concrete solutions to this growing crime problem. If there's a matter that you want us to ask Dr. Hilaire as well, you can always phone us in. The phone lines will remain open throughout. Send us a message online as well or via email. I'll be sure to ask Dr. Hilaire about the recommencement of works on the St. Jude Hospital project. A big day on Tuesday, was it, for the Prime Minister? The 1st of November was a big day for him. Prime Minister said it was the biggest day of his life. Dr. Hilaire is connecting with us now, it appears, and he will join me. He will join me shortly. So continue to stay with us. This is an opportunity now for you to share the live. If you are on Facebook or if you're watching at home, you want to phone a friend and tell a friend that the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Tourism, Investment and Creative Industries, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, is on Hot 7 TV right now. Good morning, St. Lucia, with Shannon Lebourne. One final break, and then we return on the next end with Dr. Ernest Hilaire. Stay with us. It's Free Up Friday on the platform. Always a vibe at sunrise.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals. Only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
Good morning, St. Lucia. Vibes at sunrise. An informative, enlightening, stimulating package. It can be taken as your morning cup of tea. Fortuna Anthony endorsing Vibes in the morning.
A port redevelopment project for the Castries and Soufrière waterfronts have caught the attention of the leader of the opposition, Alain Chasney, since the announcement made by government. A port redevelopment initiative had been proposed by the former administration for the south of the island on the basis of what Chasney says would ease congestion in Castries. He contends that such a project should create convenience and greater access to local tours and attractions, particularly for cruise passengers whose time on the island is limited. In a government statement this week, it has been disclosed that upon completion of the estimated $47 million project, Port Castries will be able to accommodate the world's largest cruise ships, arcade vendors will gain access to new and improved facilities, and Castries fishers will reap the benefits of a new fishing village and ferry facility in Bonans Bay. Making reference to the developer's ROI, Shastney has asked whether GPH will be in control of the port and has called on the government to make the memorandum of understanding with the developer public.
I would like to think that he's a man of his word and that the MOU that was signed will be made available to the media and to the public of St. Lucia in order that everybody can adequately understand what is GP going to do. Is GP simply funding it for SLASPA, or is it that GP is going to be taking over the management of the port? Now, I can say to you, the cruise ships have not been in favor of a GP deciding what the fees are going to be.
Having had negotiations with GPH during his tenure as Prime Minister in the former UWP government, Shastney noted that these port management and return on investment issues were serious considerations during the port redevelopment discussions.
I didn't see anything in the announcement that spoke to those issues. So who is going to decide what the fees are, the current fees, who is it going to go to, how is this going to be funded, and who is going to be running the port, right? But again, I want to say, I have nothing derogatory to say about GP. I think that this is all on the government, and I can speak firsthand of the negotiations that we had with GP. And these were all serious considerations.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
At Kareem Nelson report taking us into our Beyond the Headlines segment, a special edition on this Free Up Friday edition of the show. With no further ado, let me introduce my very special guest who joins us now live on the Flow video line. The island's Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Tourism, Investment and Creative Industries, Dr. ERNEST HILAIRE. Thanks again for agreeing to come on, and welcome. Good morning, sir.
Nelson, certainly looking forward to our dialogue this morning. I'm sure we have some exciting stuff to talk about.
Absolutely, lots to talk about. So let's get down to it right away. The recent agreement, the memorandum of understanding between the government of St. Lucia and Global Port Holdings to take a look at Port Castries and the Soufriere waterfront. Tell us about GP and the intention here.
All right, let me start off by putting everything in context, because a lot has been said, and I may say a lot of absurdity has been said, but we all understand it is political mischief. Let us dissect it, let's deconstruct it. And you're free to ask me any questions you want. As much as I can answer, I will answer. Absolutely. Because there's been a call for transparency, whatever else. So let's take it historically. The simple truth is that over the years, the governments of the Eastern Caribbean have been trying to increase the head tax. When passengers come in here on the cruise ships, they are charged a head tax. And the leader of the opposition knows that very well. He was one of the biggest opponents of cruise tourism. And for many years, he had criticized cruise tourism. And one of the reasons, rightfully from him, is that the head tax was not sufficient to meet the cost of setting up the infrastructure for the cruise ship and to give them the experience that they wanted. And we've tried. We tried to do it as the OCS. It did not work. And the head tax is generally low. And because we are small and often divided, we cannot get out of it. What GPH can do, because of their size, because of the number of countries they operate in, they are the largest cruise port operators in the world. Ports in Europe, ports in, they just took over Puerto Rico. They took over Antigua in terms of the management of the cruise operations. They're building a massive port in Bahamas. They are able to say to the cruise lines, we are the managers of these operations, the cruise, not the cargo, the cruise. And therefore, we want you to come in here to renegotiate it first. They have the money, they have the size, and they are able to do that. So even when the last government was negotiating with GPH, and I think even signed an agreement, the same MOU, well, not the same, but an MOU, for us, it is not something which we would necessarily oppose. We, in the case of the airport, had suggested a PPP. And if we had been listened to, the situation the airport is in now with rising costs, delays, would not be the burden of St. Lucia, because in a PPP, the developer accepts the risk. But we were told you should not go into PPP, and therefore they went the way they did. And look at where it has placed us.
Okay.
The second point is,
just let me comment, Dr. Hilaire, on the first point so that our citizens can have an understanding. The head tax which all the cruise passengers come in, what's it at now? And in your estimation with the figures, what's the necessary head tax?
I'll come to that. Let me give you the context. I'll come to that.
No problem.
Let me give you the context.
Right, okay.
Let me give you the context. The second thing is that for you to be able to upgrade and be able to offer the services with the bigger ships, and the bigger ships keep coming, you need to have investment. The last loan SLATPA took to increase the berthing capacity at Point Seraphim from the NIC. They're paying for it now. They still owe about $20 million on that loan. They're now even bigger ships than the last set of ships we just modified the berths to accommodate. SLATPA cannot go out and get financing now. Why? Because the last government, led by the leader of the opposition, slapped SLATPA for a loan of $175 million US. Think about that. $175 million US loan on SLATPA. SLATPA is comatose. It cannot get money to upgrade Point Seraphim again to sort out the berthing facilities by La Carinal. SLATPA is trapped because of a decision taken by the leader of the opposition when he was in government, because he rather moved from PPP to go get a loan, a hit loan on SLATPA's back. GPH will come in with the financing. And for us, that is excellent. And secondly, GPH will also pay off the SLATPA loan. So I'm hearing a lot of talk about the port being sold for $40 million. The true value of the proposed investment is about $60 million, because it includes the development of the redevelopment of the waterfront in Soufrière, Castries, paying off the SLATPA loan that is on the books. It means now SLATPA has more space to get money to deal with the cargo operations at Port Castries. So that is the thinking. But let me go on. The MOUs for Port Castries is not new. The leader of the opposition had claimed we sold Port Castries. In 2008, he signed an MOU for Royal Caribbean. He has signed MOUs with other cruise lines for development of the ports in St. Lucia. Was that selling the ports? It wasn't. He felt it was the best way to go. But also, let me tell you what has happened. We came into government in July last year, and we looked at the proposed MOU that he had agreed to in principle with GPH. And we said it was not good enough. It was not good enough. We wanted more. So we were able to say to GPH, we need you to put in the Soufrière waterfront. Again, we'll be bringing cruise ships from Castries into Soufrière. Nada. Not true. Soufrière is not going to be welcoming cruise ships from Castries. Soufrière waterfront will be redeveloped because we had a plan for Soufrière. When the government changed in 2016, the square was stopped. The waterfront was stopped. Eventually, the square was finished, and nothing had been done for 5 years to continue the plan to redevelop Soufrière. We are now going to continue that plan to redevelop Soufrière to make it a prime tourism spot. And the redevelopment of the Soufrière waterfront is to uplift and to elevate the waterfront, offering more opportunities for people in Soufrière to earn money from the tourism industry.
Not to bring cruise ships down to Soufrière to shift any business from Castries to Soufrière. So much has been said. Excellent, Dr. Hilaire. So much has been said, and I want our citizens to get an appreciation of what it is. So just hold on for me for two things. And the first question, the current head tax, what is it now, and what is in your mind necessary for us to be able to maintain and manage the cruise facility in Castries in terms of an increase in the head tax? And secondly, what's the difference? You spoke of improving soufre. What other differences can you point to between the MOU signed with GP by the last administration and the MOU that you have just signed?
Well, I mean, you asked me about the specific figures, what it is now, what will be needed for the overall operations. I think it's best as class personnel answer what it would the operational costs of the port. I mean, let me say the level of the policy and the reasons why government did what it did. The simple truth is that the head tax as it is now cannot meet the cost.
Okay.
And SLASPA has said to us, actually, cargo operations is subsidizing cruise operations at the port. Subsidizing cargo is subsidizing cruise. So the head tax has not been changed from what SLASPA tells us for more than a decade. Much more than a decade. So it's not enough. But I can arrange for you to have someone who can give you all the figures in terms of operational costs and what this one costs.
I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, so we can arrange that. You ask about the difference. The difference is remarkable. It's remarkable. The difference means we now add soufre, the entire redevelopment of soufre, over 20 million US, the waterfront in soufre, to allow more yachts, more boat charters, more recreational boat visits, the waterfront in terms of cafes, performing space for our creatives, an extensive redevelopment of Soufre waterfront. So as you approach Soufre, it's a much more enticing site and creating more opportunities for our people. We also going to rationalize the front of the present La Carinas area, taking down the customs building, the shed, rationalizing that front area. We're also going to redo the vendors arcade, expand it to where the old fire station used to be. We're going to build a boardwalk from the vendors arcade all the way to Point Seraphim, something that has been touted in the past but has never been done. We will get it done. Just think of a boardwalk all that way. People sell cafes, arts and crafts, music, creatives. Think about that. By the vendors arcade, we're going to add 2 finger pairs. So transfers from Point Seraphim can come across there. Boat charters can also unload persons right there at the vendors arcade. We're going to build a fisherman's village in Banan. Again, ideas that have been there in the past, and we are going to implement it. So it is more comprehensive than what was agreed to in principle by the last government. And what is sad is that, Shannon, you all really have to condemn the former Prime Minister and leader of the opposition for the inefficiency and the way in which they negotiated in the interest, supposedly in the interest of St. Lucia. That deal could have been signed by the last government. And if they had put the people of St. Lucia first and the interest of St. Lucia first, they would have already implemented it. We probably would still be in opposition if they had just put the interest of St. Lucia first. That deal, I mean, I don't want to put out a lot of information you get in negotiations and discussions, but that was there to be done, but it had other interests. Other interests. Let me also tell you, the leader of the opposition speaks about Viewport. Oh, what we should have done is Viewport. When we make our announcements on Viewport, you will hear about it. Again, they did not put the interest of St. Lucia first. When Royal Caribbean and Carnival started discussing Viewport, you know what they were told? Don't do it. Go and join DSH and discuss the building of a cruise port in by El Pirata Cocodan area with DSH. Cruisers didn't like it because they felt St. Lucia was a golden opportunity. They were ready. But they were told, don't do it. Go and join DSH. DSH was put before the interest of St. Lucia. Now we have come back in. We've continued discussing the cruise lines, and we have visits coming over the next few days about what we're going to do in Viewport. They speak about loving the South and the South. What did they do in 5 years for the South? The range development was messed up. The country had to pay $20 million to range, or more from some accounts. What did they do except build a racetrack? Build a racetrack. So if they had put the interest of St. Lucia, we would not even be talking now. That deal was actually agreed to, well, not ours because we modified it, but they had a deal in agreement, but they did not implement it. And someone was asking, why did they not implement it? Why was the investor?
The offerings from the former Prime Minister now is that, and he said it, quote, GP wanted too much. That's the offerings from him I leave it in the public for people to assess. But that's what he's saying. GP wanted too much. They wanted the concessionaire of point surfing. Is that in there? Is that in there?
That's not true. Can I tell you, when we looked at the agreement, that was not there. Point surfing shopping complex is owned by Invest St. Lucia. It is not of this deal. It was never in the deal.
Okay.
But you know, GP wanted too much. Maybe he wanted too much.
He also said that GP wanted control over the taxi concessionaire at point surfing as well. Is that in there for you?
That's not true. That's not true. The point surfing taxi arrangement is run by Invest St. Lucia. All GP is doing is increasing the capacity of the boat to accommodate the largest ships in the world. That's all. They have nothing to do with the shopping complex.
Okay.
And they never asked us, and we never saw that. Never did.
Okay.
But how could GP be asking for too much? And we can come and sit with GP and get GP to agree to spend 20 to 25 million US in super. But so why couldn't he do it? What was he asking GP that GP was not willing to give? Why couldn't they focus on the fundamentals and get it done?
So let's talk about the GP arrangement. They will come in. They're the largest operator of cruise ports in the world. With them coming in and operating hours, we'll talk about the specifics, the time frame. How do you think it would affect, or will it affect our competitiveness anyhow as a cruise destination if negotiating with the other cruise lines?
Well, it certainly will enhance our competitiveness. Now, let me explain to you. At this point, we just signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding. We now have to go and do all the consultations with stakeholders. We have to meet the vendors. I didn't even speak to you about Banan and what it will mean for the redevelopment of the Banan area.
We need to spend some time there.
Trust me. I mean, we're going, and again, let me say to you, these are plans that have been on the table for a very long time. And they had an opportunity to get it done when in government, they did not do it. And basically, a fisherman's village will be built there, allowing, some of the persons who live there, we will relocate them. The fishermen will get new quarters, new restaurants, a boardwalk, entertainment area. The whole area will be redeveloped, traffic management systems put in place, whatnot. It could have been done by them, but they did not do it. So we will be sitting with all the stakeholders, discussing with them, sharing ideas with them. GPH will bring down their technical team that will listen to the ideas, the concerns, and then we will finalize a concession agreement with GPH that will give the details. What we have signed is an MOU, really is a statement of intent, what we hope to achieve, what we hope to do, and what the minimum amount of money they will spend, and basically the rights that they will have. But everything they will do has to be done in consultation with the government of St. Lucia. And like the Prime Minister said yesterday, all this talk about we sell the ports, then show us the bill of sale. I mean, when we said there was a deal with BSH, we were told that's not true. We provided the agreement. Show us the bill of sale where the port was sold. But there's not going to be any sale of any port. GPH will be managing the cruise operations. That means they will ensure that the services and the facilities for the cruise operations are world-class and certainly competitive to anybody else in the region. In exchange for that, they will manage, we will collect the head tax, we'll pass it on to them, they take their share, we give them their share, we keep our share. We've also agreed that in the future, they will negotiate for increases in the years to come. Once they get increases, we'll propose how to share the increases. They will work with us to manage the fisherman's village, the new vendors arcade, and basically we will agree in the concessions agreement how we share any returns that come. So GPH is bringing to us the financing to upgrade the standards and the competitiveness of the port, including Supre. And in exchange, we will share the head tax with them for a number of years. Thereafter, they don't get a share. And we'll also discuss with them how to share the management of the facilities and any returns that come from it.
My question again, Dr. Hilaire, and thanks for all of that. How will it affect our competitiveness with the other cruise lines? Or will it at all?
Well, I think the big challenge will be for us to get the increases that we want. the cruise lines have not been given increases for years upon years upon years. But Antigua just signed with GPH a couple of years ago, last year or so, and they've already redone their ports. And the cruise lines are coming and have agreed to increase the head tax already.
Okay.
So GPH is building a new terminal in the Bahamas. They've just taken over Puerto Rico, the management of the cruise operations at Puerto Rico. So they are already in the market speaking to the cruise lines about new head tax and how it's going to operate. So we're not going to be uncompetitive by that alone. We're going to offer enhanced facilities. We're going to be more attractive. And GPH has also agreed to help us in developing the products, what it is we will offer cruise passengers when they come on shore. And I think all of that will enhance our competitiveness. Upre will be a fantastic place to visit for Castries. And if I can go into even more details with you. There were so many proposals and the project that was inherited, the tourism competitiveness program project that was going to really transform Port Castries and offer a better experience for our cruise passengers. Just last week or week before, we started breaking down the old marketing board building, and in that area, we're going to redevelop it into a box park, which will be about 30 to 40 units where our locals can own, stalls there and offer more, products to the cruise line passengers. We have to work on transforming Castries to be a better experience for our visitors and locals as well. So Castries is going to be a really exciting place when this project is completed, hopefully in the next 2 to 2.5 years.
Excellent. Let's talk some details of the MOU as much as you can now, because it's early days. How long will GP maintain management of the cruise side of the ports? What's the split like, if you can tell us? Is it 50-50? Is it 70-30? How much are we to gain here?
Well, in terms of the MOU, like I said, we still have to sign a concession agreement, which is really where the final details will be contained. The MOU is a statement of intent, what we intend to do. At this point, I will not reveal the details of the MOU, except to say that we will share the head tax. I will make a statement to Parliament at the right time, once we've concluded our negotiations. For me to come and release, okay, it's going to be shared 60-40, 70-30, we've not gone into negotiations yet on the concession agreement. We'll be declaring too much at this point. We are still in negotiations. The MOU is a statement of intent. Yeah. We expect them to do A, B, C, D. We plan to do X, Y, and Z, and then we will sit down and negotiate the details. I will not be irresponsible to give details, when we've not even started negotiating the concession agreement. You know what is really fascinating, and it amuses me? That this government the opposition has really flared up when we announced we signed the MOU, because they missed a golden opportunity to do something meaningful for this country. They missed it, and it's burning them. It's really eating at their core, because they had an opportunity to do what Bahamas did, what Puerto Rico is doing, what Antigua is doing. They did not put the people of St. Lucia first. They had their own personal interest ahead of St. Lucia, and we come in, renegotiated it, what they agreed to, and then we're going to deliver, and that's eating them.
Two things on that, Doc, and we have a caller, so just hold on. Two things on that for me. The leader of the opposition may argue as well that you had a perfect opportunity with DSH as well, and that deal was left unsigned. That's just a caveat that I threw there.
That's a good point. That's a good point, but let me answer it for you. Yeah. I love that point. Let me answer it. You see, you open that door, so let me go through it. Let me tell you something. I was the one who was leading the negotiations with DSH almost a year. And Dr. Anthony was Prime Minister then said to me, ERNEST, as negotiating team, bring a draft agreement on the table that is reasonable and fair to the people of St. Lucia. Now, as a negotiating team, and if you're involved in professional negotiations, there are different strategies and methodologies of negotiating. And we were working it out. We found so many of what we were being unreasonable. We could not come to a deal. Dr. Anthony said he was not going to go out and boast about DSH unless he was comfortable that there was going to be a deal that was in the best interest of St. Lucia. The government changed in June 2016. And by July, 4 weeks later, an agreement is signed. And we're wondering, but wait, We are the negotiators. We know how bad the draft was on the table. There were some good things in it, huh? But then how could they have signed that in 4 weeks? How could in 4 weeks the government have overcome all the challenges we had for the last year? We said something was wrong. Something was wrong. And then we got a copy of the agreement. And it was worse than what we said we were not accepting. Things we had rejected a year before as totally unacceptable was brought in, and the government signed it within 4 weeks. So we had an opportunity and we were working towards an agreement that was going to be fair and reasonable to St. Lucia. But this government, the last government came in totally oblivious to the interest of St. Lucia and what was best for the South and best for the people of St. Lucia, and signed the DSH agreement. And it is haunting us up to this day. That was the first sign of irresponsibility on the part of the leader of the opposition. He demonstrated then, within 4 weeks, that he was not suited to be a leader of this country. He did not have the interest of St. Lucia at heart. And within a few months of being in government, we had the largest demonstration on the street of St. Lucia. He tried a few days ago to have a demonstration, and we saw what happened.
Can we move on now? Let's move on now, Doc. We hold you to your word, so that the MOU will be made public. Maybe not kosher now to do so.
No, well, I didn't say this to be made public. I said the details. We will be having a discussion on the details and the arrangement as best as we can. Okay. Because we also have to consult the other side, because they too is a public company. They have agreements. They have their own, requirements. As much as we can stay and discuss in public, we will do so. Okay. And I think we're going to ask GTH, in an attempt to be even more transparent, when they do come to St. Lucia, to have meetings with the press and explain what they do in other countries and what they plan to do in St. Lucia. Because nothing to I tell you, I'm so excited about the deal and the future of St. Lucia and the possibilities for St. Lucia, because we're working hard and we're delivering. And the more we deliver is the more desperate the opposition will come. You will get. So we will, as much as possible, even ask GTH to meet with the media and take questions that they think, they can answer, and we won't even be there. They will answer it on their own.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Dr. Hilaire, do you think possibly that there was an opportunity for us to get a better deal? I
can't hear you. You're breaking up. Say that again. Can you repeat?
Would it be possible? Do you think it would have been possible for us to get a better deal had we opened up the idea of port redevelopment to open bidding, and not necessarily zoom in on this one particular operator of ports and investor?
That's a good point, and let me answer it for you. I know in 2008, the same leader of the opposition, Alan Chasney, had signed a deal with Royal Caribbean. I don't know if you remember that. You might be a little too young to remember that. I'm sure, Lebourne Senior might remember it.
Not too young at all, I remember.
You remember. Yes. But he didn't go out for open bidding, huh? He did a deal with Royal Caribbean, which could have been a very good deal. It never came through. In 2018, and I can play the recordings for you, the leader of the opposition announced to the whole country he had signed an MOU with Royal Caribbean and Carnival for the redevelopment of the port. But how does one become so bizarre that you actually announced it? You said I had signed an MOU. And now you're saying another government signed the MOU, they've sold the port. So, but he didn't go out for open bidding. But what really has happened is that we came in as a government, and remember, government is contiguous. It's supposed to be contiguous. When a deal is signed with the government of St. Lucia, it is signed with the government of St. Lucia, not the Labour Party, not the United Workers' Party. So you have to respect the agreement signed by the government of St. Lucia. But what we can do as a responsible government is to say, look, we have looked at the proposed MOU, or we've looked at the MOU that was agreed to in principle, and we believe you should give us a chance to raise some concerns with you. That's how you negotiate. They can say to you, look, we're not renegotiating, the government has agreed to it, it is what it is. But generally, investors and developers don't like to do that, because they don't want to be on the bad side of government and its statutory agencies. So then we sit with them and we say, well, look, you see this point, we don't really like it. Can you rethink it? Can you give us 5 percentage points more? We say to them, well, it doesn't make sense to develop the berthing by Plash Carénage, but you do nothing about the walkway from Point Seraphine. Can you do something about that for us? We estimate it will cost 2.5 million US or 4 million US. Can you add it in? And they will say, well, if we add it in, our overall capital outlay will increase. Can we get X, Y, and Z in return? We say to them, look, can you do Banan bigger? Because there'll be traffic issues. You need to rethink the traffic and you negotiate the agreement. And then we say to them, you know what? Soufrière is our primary tourism spot. Can you add Soufrière? No, Soufrière will cost too much. We say, well, okay, maybe we can give you more if you will add Soufrière. And you negotiate and you negotiate and you negotiate. But the intent of the government was to make it better for the people of St. Lucia. That is our motivation. That is our driving force. So, you know, you asked whether we could have gone out to tender. If it was virgin with nothing in place, then you can think about doing that. But if there was already an agreement on the table, there was already something agreed to in principle, then we cannot just cast it aside and put ourselves in challenges and difficult situations. We have to approach the party involved and see how we can get a better deal from them.
Right.
You may not, or you may succeed in doing so. And that is how we've approached it.
I'll do some digging here to see if we can uncover that MOU, which you said was signed by the former administration. Dr. Here, just hold on for my technician says 60 seconds. We must end the call and reconnect. I know you have a 9 o'clock, but it wouldn't take more than 60 seconds, so just hold on. There's lots more on the back end of this. The Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Tourism is online with us, Dr. ERNEST HILAIRE. We're talking about the recent Memorandum of Understanding signed between the government of St. Lucia and Global Port Holdings for the redevelopment of Port Castries and the Soufrière waterfront. What's in it for us? What's at stake? What are some of the issues which require clarification? We're going through all of them right now this morning. The phone lines are open at 4500-777, 4500-777 is the number that you have to call as well. We should be back on with Dr. Hilaire in just a few seconds, quicker than I thought, Katie. Give us a call. WhatsApp are also open, 5840600 as well. Few questions coming in on the WhatsApp. We'll get to those. Dr. Hilaire is on. Not yet, Katie. I hope I didn't lose him like we lost him the first time. Remember the first time we had Dr. Hilaire on. There's so much that we still must touch on. It's live television. We thank you for joining us this morning. We go up until 9. We're definitely going to cut off at 9 this morning because the minister has 9 o'clock scheduled appointment as well. We have somebody on the landline, Dan? No, nobody's on the landline. There seems to be an issue down on the inside here. I can hold on if you can come check it in quickly. Oh, wow. So my co-producer, if you're listening, we have to ask Dr. Hilaire to come back on as quickly as possible, please. Let's try to facilitate that for me so that we can move on with the discussion here with Global Port Holdings. $47 million being invested and injected in the ports in Castries and Soufrière, some $47 million. If it's a call, you can patch it through. Again, co-producer, can we please ask Dr. Hilaire to log in again on the Zoom meeting? Our humble apologies. I would hate to miss any time with the doctor this morning. Okay, I'm told that he has requested 2 to 3 minutes. Good that we will get somebody from SLASPA to come talk specifics on the management and the figures with us, and good that the minister will encourage GP when next they're in town to meet with the media. Yeah, so he should be back on shortly. Somebody's asking a quick question. Let me go through it. Is there a risk to have GP to do the ports? They have investment in most ports around the region. This could ultimately give them governance power that can stronghold the that they can use as a stronghold? Is there a risk this could stronghold the region? Please ask the question. I'll definitely do. Dr. HILAIRE is reconnecting now. 4500-777, the Flow landline, and 5840-600, the Flow WhatsApp platform as well. Dr. HILAIRE, you back with us? He is logging in. I could see that he is logging in. So we give him a few more moments. Excellent. Thanks for coming back on. Let's move quickly because we time is against us. A question from a listener who asked, is there a risk, Dr. HILAIRE, to have GPH to do the ports? They have investment in most ports across the region. This could ultimately give them governance power that can stronghold the region. Is there a risk there?
A very good question, actually. It is something that has been asked even by more developed countries. As you know, look at the United Kingdom, for example. Gatwick is not run by the government of the United Kingdom or Heathrow. There are many ports in the world and many airports in the world that are run by private interests. Well, not run, not owned, but they lease it, they run it. And therefore, they've always been the question, should you let what they've seen as a strategic asset be leased and managed by private interests? But what governments have done is that to ensure the essential aspects of it in terms of national security and other reasons remain in the hands of the local authorities. So if you go to the United Kingdom, when you land, immigration is still border force. It's not a private entity. Customs is still customs. National security is still national security. So somebody can run your commercial operations, but not your security operations or your other vital operations. So you can actually have a strategic asset that is not, run commercially by, government. Look at, even in St. Lucia, look at Lucilec. Lucilec is not owned by the government of St. Lucia in majority. It's not. It's a private entity that owns most of the shares in Lucilec and has done so ever since Sir John Compton, gave Lucilec, the rights that they have. So that happens. It all comes down to the kind of arrangement that you put in place for the overall management of the facility. So what GPH will be doing is managing the cruise operation. They're not going to be involved in cargo. They're not going to be involved in security. They're not going to be involved in any vital operations at the seaports. That's not their business. It's the cruise aspect of it. And for us, we are comfortable that another entity can manage the cruise operations at the port.
Well, what happens now to the proposed home port facility in Vieux-Fort?
Well, again, even this, the one, again, you open that door and I really want to go through it because, a lot has been said about it. If the last government, when they came in 2016, had not terminated the arrangements we had with the IFC, the World Bank, because we were in a process that was being managed by the IFC to establish a PPP to build up the airport. That was stopped. We lost years. Then they started and did whatever they did and made SLASPA take a loan of $175 million. And we wondered if there should be a hurricane, an earthquake, or disaster. This is going to slaughter us in this country because we cannot carry, as a small country, such a huge capital investment with such a risk. We were told by the leader of opposition, we know nothing about business. He is a CEO running this country like a business, like a company. As it turned out, nobody foresaw. COVID came, inflation, prices are going up by 40-50%. SLASPA must find the money now. SLASPA. If prices move by 40%, SLASPA has to find it. But part of that arrangement was that the former Prime Minister asked for a redesign of the airport to allow for what he says is home porting. Now, there are different views. There are people in the cruise industry that said, we didn't need all what your last government proposed to do. We didn't need that. That aspect that the last Prime Minister added increased the cost of the airport significantly, and he claimed it was for home porting. And the airlines, the cruise lines have said to us, this is not how they really want this done. And they have explained to us what they want done and how they believe it can work in St. Lucia. So we did not stop the home porting discussion. We actually encouraged it. So one particular cruise line continued to do all the dive studies, the wave motion studies. They designed the port facility in Viewport already with the anticipation that the airport will be finished and that we can have home porting. Then, of course, COVID caused some financial crisis, so they're having issues trying to discuss the financing of it. We said, you know what? We will go out there and find investors. In case they cannot sort out the financing over the next few months, we will look to bring in investors that will work with them with the financing to make sure it happens. We are committed to doing it. We are committed, and we're very close to making an announcement on the future of the port in the South. Nobody loves the South more than us. Trust me. That the South it defines us in many ways. And just look at that. I mean, sometimes, Shannon, you want to just laugh, and sometimes you feel pained by the comments that are made. The hotel in Black Bay could have been built by the last government. They messed it up. The developer sued the government, or took action to sue the government.
That's range. That's range, correct?
Range. The Canals Resort started years ago, has been stalled. We are now getting it back on track. The South could have been better off. The cruise operations in the South could have been done already. They were stopped. They were told to go and work with DSH instead. But what was the South promise? 23 islands, a causeway to Maria Island. Has that happened? It has not happened. I don't even want to talk about St. Jude because we'll come back on your program another day and talk about St. Jude.
No problem.
So let me just finalize and tell you, we are committed to home porting. We actually have over the next few days some major parties coming down to St. Lucia, cruise lines and investors. We'll try to bring them together to be able to see and make an announcement very shortly as to the future of the South when it comes to home porting and cruise operations.
Hold on for me a minute. We have a caller online. Let's patch that caller through. But you're giving us $1 million soundbite that I'll pass on to Sherry Ann this evening. Nobody loves the South more than we do. That's a $1 million soundbite.
I wasn't aware when I was coming on that you would be taking calls. But anyway, let's go.
I'm so sorry. That's the nature of the platform. I'm sorry that we.
No, let's go.
Caller, good morning.
You ready for me?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, Dr. Hilaire, good morning. Yes, it's really two questions.
I hear what you say. Shannon, you might have to repeat it for me. I cannot really hear what you said.
My technicians, let's work on that quickly, and I will repeat Dr. Hilaire. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, it's two questions on the broader perspective. Do we, as St. Lucians, believe that we have the intellectual capacity to execute such projects of that magnitude? Are these projects too big for St. Lucians, or should we continue to pack our brains and not use it to the fullest extent? The second question is, let us assume that there is a group with plans to develop Port Viewport. What should that group now do with those plans now that the minister says that they have plans for Viewport? Are we being invited as nationals to bid on or to share our ideas on these projects, or should we continue to sit by and allow others to come in and do for us what we should be able to do for ourselves in the 21st century? Thank you very much, Sue.
Thank you, caller. Let me quickly paraphrase Mr. if you didn't hear. He is asking, do we not have the intellectual capacity, the know-how, and the wherewithal to handle such projects of magnitude on our own as St. Lucian people?
Okay, that's the first part. I think I got that, and I got the essence of the second. But
okay.
So, Shannon, let me tell you something. Let me say, with all due respect to the caller, I believe in my people. I believe in intellectual capacity. I'm a proud St. Lucian, a proud West Indian. And I don't want anybody to question our intellectual ability. We produced 2 Nobel laureates in St. Lucia. One in literature, one in economics. The economics of development. I know our people are capable. We have some of the brightest people. We're not saying we're the brightest people in the world. We've gone to the best universities. We have excelled. We worked in the biggest companies in the world. We have excelled as St. Lucians and as West Indians. Don't tell me, Shannon, that you, as a young enterprising person, do not think you have the ability to go and work at CBS and CNN and ABC. If you believe that, if you think that way, I'm telling my brother, I'm really disappointed in you. Because we have talent, we have ability. I believe we can take on the biggest projects in the world. I'm not saying we can do it all by ourselves. I'm not saying that. We certainly need expert advice where we fall short. But the same way our people go to work in New York, in Paris, in Dubai, in other capitals of the world, contributing to their intellectual capital, I believe we can do the same for our people in St. Lucia. So I'm not afraid of that. I have a lot of faith, in our people and our capacities. The second question was
whether or not, if there is a group of people with special interest to develop the Port in Vieux Fort, I'm guessing from the caller that is St. Lucian interests. What happens now that you're saying you probably have already identified investors?
Well, you see, that the issue is, if there's any St. Lucian investor that has 100 million US or whatever that they can invest in the port, they would need to declare it. I mean, I am not aware of any St. Lucian who has that kind of access to financing to want to do it. And we have many exciting ideas in St. Lucia for development. And let me tell you, this government believes, and the Prime Minister said it over the last couple of days, that a vibrant, successful St. Lucian economy must essentially rest on a very vibrant and successful local business class. It has to. You see, in projecting the model for economic development for us, there is a role for the big foreign investor who has huge capital outlay and that will do certain projects. But we must always create the space for our local investors to also come to the fore and invest according to the capacity that they have. So we are very supportive. Yesterday we launched a community tourism program and agency in Ancillary, and that's what it is about. This government is making over $20 million available through loans, through grants, for St. Lucians, people who not normally have access to capital, to get capital to start off their own small business. We're going to do it in the youth economy. We're going to do it with the micro enterprise fund that is going to be set up in the Ministry of Commerce. Between those three agencies, almost $50 million will be available for St. Lucians who have not really had access to financing to come and do it. And the community tourism, for example, the government is making $5 million available to give you grants to supplement the loan that you will be taking to ensure you can enter the tourism industry and own part of it. We'll be giving up to $100,000 unsecured if you can come with a viable, exciting idea that can contribute to community tourism. And we're doing so because we believe exactly what the essence of what the last caller said. We need to create space for our local entrepreneurs, young people with bright ideas, people who have had ideas but have had no access to financing, to be able to do so and to enjoy part of the benefits pie and not allow only one sector to be able to dominate the benefits in St. Lucia. So I believe there's a space for the big investor and there's space for the St. Lucian entrepreneur. And we need to create a larger business class. I heard this morning, President Biden put it so well. He was chastising the Republicans and he said, this idea of trickle-down economics and trickle-down benefit, where you give all the benefit to some at the top and hopefully they will allow the benefit to trickle down, and you say, no, that's not his approach. You really do it from bottom up and middle up. And I think in many ways that's what we want to do. Say to those at the bottom who traditionally cannot get financing, we're going to make it available to you. And then the wealth will flow. And from the middle, those are the academic, the professional skills, the entrepreneurship, we're going to assist you so the middle can get larger and larger. And the Prime Minister put it well yesterday. You know, the average St. Lucian have dreams for their child to become lawyers, doctors, engineers, fishermen, and to become different professional achievers in their own right. And we need to give them that opportunity. So when we go out to negotiate, that is what motivates us to create opportunities for the ordinary average St. Lucian to now be able to enjoy of the benefits that the industries in St. Lucia can bring to enjoy the prosperity of St. Lucia. And that's what drives us. And that is what will constantly motivate us to do what we do.
Yeah. Definitely, sir, your agenda, an ambitious one. It's not the first time around for you. You've been around, so you know these things take time within government, but it's of the interest to all St. Lucians to see some of those ambitious plans succeed. And you appreciate that a time will come when all the rhetoric will be weighed as to how much you've delivered. But we look forward to what is exciting plans. Two more from me quickly on the port deal, and then we close because not much time left. SLASPA, sir, would you agree that the SLASPA brand has been a standout in port administration across the region?
Yeah, there was a time when SLASPA easily was seen as one of the best managed ports in the Caribbean, or certainly in the Eastern Caribbean. And SLASPA has a very good reputation when it comes to the general management of the port. I mean, I must say in the last few years, some of us would have expected better of SLASPA in some of the decision making that was made, but they've provided us with explanations as to why certain decisions were made, and we can understand that it was sometimes beyond it.
Yeah. What's the interface with them and GP, and whereas GP will hold the concessionaires for Port Castries, what role would SLASPA have? Will they still maintain oversight in some aspects?
No, the port is owned and managed by SLASPA on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia. That does not change. And I think SLASPA themselves will be very happy, I can tell you, for that loan to be taken off their books, which means now they can now access financing to enhance port operations. And SLASPA will also be very happy that there will be the upgrade of the ports, and it will not be at their expense. So I think SLASPA at the end of the day, and I must tell you, before this new arrangement was finalized, the Ministry of Finance was very involved, SLASPA was very involved. So, you know we are all on the same page.
Excellent. And let's talk the designs. Ambitious plans, consultation with the Sufra people to come, especially Barons Drive, the officers in Banans, other stakeholders, and design that boardwalk for us, because many St. Lucians think it's a walkover bridge. Design it for us.
Well, I mean, and like I said, a lot of things are still conceptual. We need to have the consultation stage now. And you need the conceptual, because if you're going to make a statement of intent, you have to be able to say it's going to look like this. It's not going to be a flyover bridge from Point Seraphine to the Vendors Arcade. It'll actually be a boardwalk along the waterfront. So if in the government buildings and you look down, you will actually see a boardwalk. You will see small cafes. You will see small outlets for people selling art and craft and leather works. There'll be an area for creatives to perform. Somebody even sent a note to me and told me, finally put up the Independence Monument. This thing was supposed to have gone up for more than almost 3 decades or whatever.
That's Alwyn St. Omer's monument, correct?
Yes. So somebody did send a note to me and tell me, make sure once and for all we put up the Independence Monument. I mean, it's not for me to decide, these are national decisions. But you can almost close your eyes and visualize, a boardwalk stretching from the Vendors Arcade all the way to Point Seraphine. And some of us who've had the benefit of traveling to other parts of the world can tell you what it can look like if you visualize it. If you visualize Banan with the fishermen app, that's been redeveloped, and all persons living in the area get a chance to participate in economic activity. So I believe it is going to be exciting. We're going to go into the consultation phase now, and then we'll be able to present the final concepts to the people.
Okay, we're wrapping up. We'll take this one call. Good morning, you're on.
Hello.
Hello? Yes,
Hello?
sir. You're on.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
caller.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question to the minister.
Sure.
I'd like to ask a question to the minister.
Let me ask you
pertaining to the development in the harbor.
First, can you just turn down the volume on that device that you're listening to and continue quickly, caller?
I live in Castries, and I have my concern. My concern is that we have the rivers coming from Masha and we have the rivers coming from New Village. We have the thing dropping off collecting the water in the gardens, which all dump into the Castries harbor. I used to sail for years. All the debris, we're talking about plastic, trees, washing machines, cushions, chairs, everything, all the garbage that comes from the Marshall River and coming from the St. Lucia area and the Conway area goes into the harbor. That development don't have plans for the harbor. All that plastic and rubbish coming from the Fulashore end, it goes and it settles down in the Bannon area, which you're all aware of. It settles on the beach down at the end by the madhouse on the beach there. That area there, all that garbage and stuff, the pollution. Plus, you have on the site where you just mentioned, the guy said you want to put up the statue, which is on the side by St. Lucia to the waterfront there. That's across the bridge. Where they have that little, I think that's where he wants to put up the monument. If you're not aware, when you're walking on the sidewalk, approaching that little area there, where I think you have some benches there now with a little monument.
Yeah.
They have the Wasper pump. The sewage coming out of St. Lucia is pumped from Wassa, where they have the new park there, where the Central Castries where they build a park. There's a sewage thing dropping off water there, right in the water there. So when you pass in, you will see all that black sewage water is being dumped.
So you want to know, caller?
Right.
You want to know, caller, what's going to be done with that sewage outlet and the debris in and around the harbor?
Because if you're going to put a walkway there, what you said, a boardwalk, and you have that stench thing there, these things you have to take care of this before you could think of and the garbage.
Thank you,
so
caller.
This is my point there.
Thank you so much, caller.
This is my point.
Minister is asking, what's the plan to address the Wasco manhole that pumps wastewater, it looks like, into the harbor, and the debris situation in and around the Castries harbor?
Yeah, I'm aware that Wasco has been looking at this problem for a number of years. Under Dr. Kenny Anthony, I know a comprehensive study was done with a number of options, presented as to how they can deal with wastewater management into the Castries harbor. It is something that we will look at, and during our discussions, we certainly will, engage Wasco to have a discussion on how this can be addressed in the long term.
Yeah, excellent. Do we have another caller? Not just yet. We maybe have time for two more quick ones. The minister has to go shortly. How long will the proposed project take, sir?
Again, when we finalize the concession agreement, which we don't know if it's going to take 3 months, 2 months to negotiate, we hope it certainly on our side that by the winter season of 2024, this should be implemented, which means not next year, but the following year we should have everything in place.
And satisfy citizens that for $47 million US investment plus the $20 million for SLMar loan, we would not have given off too much to the developer here.
Well, I'll tell you something, Shannon. It's something you always have to consider when you're involved in business negotiations. If you want to speak with investors and you say to them to come to invest in your country, they want to know what's the ROI, the return on the investment. And they have the option of going to invest in other countries. And they also have the option of investing in their own countries where they have many venture funds and other investment funds. And they will calculate what the ROI I can get by putting my money into a venture fund and getting X amount at the end of the day, or how much money can I get when I invest in St. Lucia. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to offer to the investor a return on his investment that will make him want to come to your country as against somewhere else. At the same time, you have to ensure what it is that you want done in your country. And like I said to you, SLMar starts off with many challenges. SLMar cannot get the head tax increase. We've tried that for 20 odd years. And secondly, by the leader of the opposition when he was Prime Minister, causing SLMar to take a loan of $175 million US has suffocated SLMar when it cannot go and raise capital. So you then have to ask yourself, do we allow the Fort Castries to remain as is for another 20 years because we don't have the financing to upgrade it? Or do we speak of an investor that was brought on the table by the leader of the opposition and see how we can finesse what was agreed to with him so we can get more? Because remember, and I need to make that point, what we have done is to get more, to get more than what was being offered. So I believe at the end of the day, we have benefits, the developer have benefits. And in negotiations, at the end of the day is, you have to meet my interest, I have to meet your interest, and both parties can move forward. I'm satisfied that St. Lucia will be the better for it.
Excellent. Citizen question, what is GP's social responsibility like?
Well, I mean, one thing GP is known for is their social responsibility. Yeah? GP has an outstanding record wherever they've been for the kind of social responsibility they have. But some of those issues will be finalized and dealt with in the concession agreement. Now, I think I have to run now.
All right. You'll have to go. You'll have to go, sir. But you and I don't live with our heads in a box park anywhere. We very much have our ears to the ground. Concerning to all other citizens, and I'll leave it there, the crime situation, directly or indirectly, your constituency has been impacted by the last 4 homicides. Where are we going to find a solid response to this crime situation?
Well, I mean, quickly, it has to be a collaborative effort. It has to be bringing all agencies together. And I am a person who is rooted in social development, rooted in it. And I believe historically, not just in St. Lucia, but in many parts of the world, people believe crime should be dealt with essentially through law enforcement, the criminal justice system. And even when they bring in social interventions, it's a small part of the approach. I believe we have to reverse that. We have to be able to invest more in social intervention programs to complement the criminal justice system. And I am a strong advocate for this. It is why, I've been associated, for example, with programs like STEP and SMILE and whatnot. And we were ridiculed in the past when we introduced a STEP program where you're giving people work and they by the roadside, they don't have contract. And remember the leader of the opposition severely criticizing STEP and firing 1,000 solutions. I believe we need more programs like this, investing in communities. A lot of the social activities, the community activities, we need to do more of that. And we need to also create the economic activities so our people can get opportunities to have sustainable livelihoods. So it's a collaborative effort, and I'm telling you personally, it's true I am primarily leading the economic, and business, agencies in some ways. I believe strongly in heavy investment in the community development and the social intervention program. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
We'll talk again. We'll talk
I have
again.
a lot more to share with you.
We'll talk again, and through you, Mado Premier Ministre, même quand vous venez ici, à bien causer ce problème, je voulais inviter Premier Ministre Philippe Pierre pour venir ici à une petite conversation avec nous.
Non, n'aille parler, Pierre, n'aille vous voulez parler, puis vous voulez venir à ces défis, vous parler pour, n'aille faire ça, n'aille dire ça pour.
Merci, Shiny. Bonne journée, Monsieur Ernest.
All right, thanks.
All right, Minister of Government, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Tourism, Investment and the Creative Industries, Dr. Ernest HILAIRE, my special guest. I know you know that we could have done with some additional time, but the Minister has a 9 o'clock appointment. He did a lot of some additional minutes, time this morning, and we thank him for that. Sylvester Alphonse, who connect more bien. I am one that's different, DSP, different, special, and positive. So don't mix me. Don't mix me. Jason will rise again at 6 a.m. on Monday. We get off to an early start, 6 o'clock. Don't miss a minute. Don't be late. This is the place to be. The new course to discuss. My name is Shannon Lebourne. I'm your humble servant. I want to thank you for making us your choice. Thank you for spending the week with us here on the platform. We'll be back, God willing, next week with some more informative, educational, exciting programming. On behalf of my entire team, thank you so much for joining us. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend.